had to click add to cart.
Yeah. So, all right. So you've made it. Maybe if you're up and you're at them this morning, give us a phone call and let us know how the shopping is going. 803-404-6100. If you're shopping against your will, we'd also like to hear that. If you've been dragged out, maybe you're the designated shopping driver and you're in charge of just getting the significant other or family members from store to store to store. Give us a phone call as you ride around and listen this morning. Again, 803-404-6100. How you can join us via the Love Chevy phone lines or the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Both of those options are available to you. As always, we are up and running on the Buford Lending live stream this morning. Patrick from his house in Greenwood, where he's hanging out with the parents, me from my house here in Lexington, Jen from the studio, as we get you going on a Friday morning, the day before South Carolina and Clemson. And Patrick, being that your family is from out of state, and Jen, that yours and mine, mine was more of a Wednesday night deal that we did with the family. I guess the three of us did not have to deal with Clemson relatives showing up and overindulging on the food and not leaving any leftovers. I don't think any of us had
Not
to
helping
deal
clean
with,
up, not helping cook, just sitting there eating and then leaving, being a
yeah,
nuisance.
yeah, that basically they're the unruly. We all know that Clemson family members are the unruly family members that show up late, delay dinner, and then you're right, they just leave. They just leave. It's no fun. They get the house in a mess. So Jen, how was your Thanksgiving? Was it good? Was it everything you had hoped for here in 2021? Oh boy.
Oh no.
Well, it sounds like the honest truth is going to be far more entertaining, or was it just fine? Is the honest truth because it was kind of boring and we didn't have any fireworks at the Jensen household. No. Okay. And and Patrick, your family's first Thanksgiving here in all being residents of the state of South Carolina. How did that go for you?
It was great. I got here around 6:15 in the morning. We just got started on breakfast bright and early. Probably ate breakfast around 7:15, 7:30. Um, got in the car, drove over to the lot to check out the lot my parents were buying. So we did a little touring of the town of Greenwood. Came back, watched a little parade. I took a little nap. Then we got started on Bloody Marys and getting started on the cooking. And then around I think 3:30 we ate. We had the turducken, the jambalaya, crawfish jambalaya stuffed turducken, which was incredible. And then we do a meat stuffing, which was delicious as always. Sweet potatoes, mashed potatoes, and green bean casserole. And then we had a little cookies, lemon bars, pumpkin pie, pecan pie for dessert. So it was a phenomenal day. Lots of naps. Not as much football as I expected. I really didn't watch that much football. We watched the end of that Cowboys Raiders game, which was turned out to be a very entertaining ending, and then about a half of the Saints Bills game. I think when the Bills put it to 17-0 to start the third quarter, that was pretty much it for us.
Okay, sounds like a
No Egg
very
Bowl. Did you watch the Egg
very.
Bowl?
I watched. I made it to about three quarters last night before everything kind of kicked in, and I was done and out. The Egg Bowl last night, kind of I guess the highlight of the night, 31-21. Mississippi prevails over Mississippi State. That was a game that I was really interested in, Patrick, because of what we had talked about with the point spread.
Right.
Again,
One, we
Mississippi
were
State
right.
was favored. Yeah, Mississippi State favored by a point and a half last night, and they pull off the 31-21 victory. So Mississippi, Lane Kiffin, they finished the season 10-2 yesterday, and now it'll be kind of interesting to see what happens with Lane Kiffin moving forward. If he sticks around in Oxford, if that's will be continue to be his permanent residence, or if he finds himself more in the mix at say a Florida or at an LSU, or if another job pops open. One interesting thing Wednesday afternoon that was just mentioned to me, even though I haven't seen this anywhere else. Would he be interested in a move to Virginia Tech? And only because it's an easier path, say, to the college football playoff. He can probably recruit as well at Virginia Tech as he can at Mississippi, but it would end up potentially being an easier path. He can get himself a quarterback in I haven't seen his name mentioned anywhere. I don't think that that's a realistic possibility, Patrick, but it was just kind of thrown out to me in conversation on Wednesday is if Virginia Tech wanted to get in the mix, does Lane Kiffin see that as an easier path than trying to bang heads with Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban and whomever LSU may bring in each and every year? And that's not counting your crossover game that he may end up getting. Would that be something that would be of interest to him to get out of Oxford and go somewhere where, again, the path to a college football playoff may be a little bit easier?
I don't know. I mean, it is only his second year, and he's going to go to, what do you think, the Cotton Bowl? So they're going to end up with? Or I don't know what the projections are.
It's really going to depend. I don't
On
know if the SEC can get 3 teams into if they get just one. I think we're all right now. I think all of us would take Georgia, with the exception of our texter, Todd, who weighs in each and every morning. I think all of us would take Georgia minus the 3.5 in the SEC championship game, which if we took that Georgia won, that would eliminate Alabama, in my opinion, from the college football playoff. And at that point, I don't know if the SEC could get 2 teams into the Big Six New Year's Day bowl games that would open up, or would it send Mississippi potentially to, say, like the Citrus Bowl or something?
Yeah, that would kind of stink. I don't know. At a certain point, I think Lane Kiffin is going to want to stay somewhere and like build a home somewhere. I don't know if he's just an SEC guy at this point. I don't know if Mississippi will be that point, but he's 46 years old. He's coached at a million places already. He's bounced around so often. I don't think what's the longest he's been at a school or a specific spot in his entire career. I'm looking at his thing right now. It looks like he's never spent more than 4 years at one spot. He spent 4 years at Southern Cal. So at a certain point, I think he's going to stop rushing out of places and trying to find the next big job. And when you're this good in year 2, I think Mississippi could end up being that spot. And I don't know, does he really think that this is the best it's going to get? In his second year with a quarterback he didn't even recruit and a team that he didn't even recruit, just a roster that he was basically handed over, and he's gotten them 10-2 and potentially New Year's Six Bowl. So I don't know. I don't know that he thinks that, or he would look at Virginia Tech right now and say, well, now I've got to rebuild this program, rebuild really the whole recruiting infrastructure here because it's been terrible for the last 4, 5, 6 years. And start fresh. So unless it was something that was just ready-made, like if Florida gave him an offer, no strings attached, just we want you to be the coach here, or LSU said we want you and we don't want to offer anyone else, maybe he leaves because those are premier jobs. But I feel like he's comfortable with Ole Miss where it is right now. You have a chance at a generational recruit in Arch Manning, and you have a real chance to build off this season. There's a lot of like fun energy around the Ole Miss program. A 2-loss season 2 years in, people are going to buy into that, and you should be able to kind of dominate the state of Mississippi if you are a good recruit at all. He's clearly done well with Twitter and things like that. So yeah, I think he has a legitimate chance, especially with the transfer portal, of just bringing in big time quarterbacks every year and making Ole Miss a perennial, if not college football playoff contender, a perennial double-digit win team, which is huge.
It will be interesting. His name will be semi-prominent, I think, amongst maybe the discussions that occur over the next 10 days in Gainesville and in Baton Rouge, depending on what happens with their prime candidates. We had David Waters on the last time we were all together Wednesday, and David thinking maybe the big money donors in Gainesville might not want to go down the Lane Kiffin path and deal with, I don't know if he's headaches now. I mean, look, he's winning. When you're winning, nobody really cares what you're tweeting or what you're saying. But he didn't know if the big money donors there, the Bull Gators, I believe is what they're called, would want to deal with Lane Kiffin and maybe some of the baggage that he could bring. You are right, Patrick. He spent 3 full seasons at Southern Cal, never had a losing season, actually had a 10-2 season. I said he followed that with a 7-6, and he was 3-2 at the time that he was left on the tarmac after a loss to Arizona State in 2013. He followed that up with an 11-3 and a 10-3 season, 5-7 season sandwiched between those at Florida Atlantic before taking the Mississippi job. So, Patrick, one interesting thing there. His last 5 seasons as a head coach, his last 5, has produced 3 double-digit win seasons. That's kind of impressive. And I don't know, again, if people are going to take a chance on him. But last night, again, Mississippi pulls out the 31-21 victory in the Egg Bowl. I did watch it. It was kind of entertaining. I really have not sat down and watched a Mike Leach offense this year. And Will Rogers certainly is a guy that I think Mike Leach can build upon and maybe be a very interesting team next year, a team that can give some problems to some teams there in the West, providing there still is a Western division and Oklahoma and Texas don't arrive and we throw this thing completely into chaos in the SEC. But pretty good game last night from that standpoint. The NFL not really very good yesterday.
Well, we got an overtime game.
Well, I was going to say the other two actually, Jen, did you get into the Bears and the Lions there? I have to admit, just for the Lions' sake, and they kept throwing up stats about how bad the Lions are. I kind of felt bad. I started pulling for the Lions, just kind of hoping that they would win. And it wasn't that I don't. I think
America was pulling for the Lions, maybe even the Bears fans, because they want Matt Nagy to be fired. But it's also like we'll lose for the sake of losing Nagy, but you don't want to be the one team that loses to the Lions. You don't want the Lions to end up being 1-16, and that one is you.
It was.
I watched maybe. Did you watch a lot? Did you watch all of it, Bill? Because I watched maybe 5 plays as I was walking through doing different things, getting food ready.
No, I don't even think Chicago or Detroit fans watched all of it. I don't think anybody. There were other options at that time on the television. I think they were re-showing the Macy's Day Parade. I know the house we were at had I don't know, one of the Jurassic Parks on one of the newer ones. Chris Pratt was trying to save down. Yeah, there was a lot of options there that you could have gone to that was outside of the Bears and the Lions, but. It was entertaining. I mean, if you liked entertaining football, the Bears kick a field goal at the end to win the game 16-14. The second game, as you mentioned, Patrick, was the game of the day. The Raiders and the Cowboys there in Dallas, and Las Vegas kicks a field goal to win it in overtime, 36-33.
Really kicked again, 5 field goals, or was it 4 field goals? There was a make and then a penalty, a false start, and there were 2 offsides. And then another offside that made it first down, and then finally a field goal. It was a pretty chaotic ending.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was again, as you mentioned, Dallas. I call it kind of the ending of that. Dallas hitting the long pass there with about 3 minutes to go to tie it, and then getting the 2-point conversion. Las Vegas went right down the field in about 25 seconds and maybe 30 seconds. I don't know. By that point, I was starting to really enjoy we did oysters, by the way. I didn't really get into that, but we grilled oysters.
Well, I guess we'll talk about that.
We did later. Oysters. Yeah, we did. It was good. But the Las Vegas goes right back down, kicks a field goal, leaving about a minute, I guess, on the clock, and then Dallas comes flying back down the field and kicks a field goal. They go to overtime, as you mentioned, Patrick. Daniel Carlson kicking the game-winning field goal at 29-yarder. To cap off a pretty good game. The night game stunk 31-6. The Bills absolutely destroy the Saints. Patrick, thankfully, hopefully you and the New Orleans family didn't get too invested in that game because it was not a good one.
I don't really know how Saints fans are feeling because they're still in the hunt record-wise, but Trevor Siemian is awful. They don't have an answer at quarterback. If they're not going to start Taysom Hill, then what are we really doing? Trevor Siemian's not getting it done. The defense is really good, too. They gave up 31 points, but that wasn't really their fault. So, I don't know. It's a weird time to be a Saints fan after they've been nothing but great for the better part of 15 years.
Well, certainly a tough night for the Saints. Tough night for Mississippi State, but a good night for everybody, hopefully, here in the state of South Carolina as you spent time with family, you enjoyed some great food, and you get geared up Saturday night, 7:30, Williams-Brice Stadium, South Carolina and Clemson. We'll talk about this game. We'll continue to break it down here. If you want to weigh in
what
this
do we
morning,
want for the poll question, Bill?
It's a good question. I'm glad you asked that. I think you go. Was it Clemson by 1-7? Clemson by, I don't know if you want to go Clemson from 1-10.
Gamecocks win.
That's a good question.
Clemson wins but doesn't cover, and Clemson covers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was thinking of it. I think maybe you I don't think anybody would take. How many people have South Carolina covering or winning this game by more than a touchdown? Do you think many? Do you think many people
Probably
are gonna?
I mean, we can do that. We can do 4 options and just see if there are people that are actually confident that we're just gonna go out there and dominate.
Yeah, if you want to do that, if you want to go like Clemson, I don't even know if you got to do covers, but you could do Clemson, between 1 and 10, and then Clemson cover, South Carolina between 1 and 10, South Carolina by double digits. That might be your best bet just this morning to go with that.
Okay.
Just see where the poll results fall. I think we'll find out who is up earliest this morning, whether it's Clemson fans or whether it's South Carolina fans. That's what our Twitter poll will result on. 803-404-6100. When we come back, we've got to get out to the phone lines. There is the man that is ready to give the final prediction, ready to talk some trash, ready to let all the Clemson fans know that South Carolina is about to dominate. We'll speak with that particular man when we return. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Early game coming up on 107.5 The Game.
From the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center, Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. Shepherd'sGlass.com. Things moving
All
along
right.
very well.
Yeah, I think just go with that,
this
Patrick.
morning. Maybe a little less traffic on the highways does help, but we'll take it. And weather-wise, not too bad today. It's going to be clearing out. A couple light showers this morning. That should be cleared out, and then it'll be breezy today, 60 for the high. 59 tomorrow, sunny and cool, the overnight low of 40. So right now, it's 55 at 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by eBay. Shop on eBay to get more for your dough on stand mixers, or get more for your buck on tap and gaming.
Dabo calls it stuffing, that means it's dressing.
They what?
If Dabo calls it stuffing, then it's definitely dressing.
Yeah, we just had a bunch of dressing. It's not that bad out there. I think, what was it, supposed to get down into the 20s the last 2 nights?
Yeah, no, it's better today.
I think it's been mild. I don't think it was. I think it was cold Wednesday night, but it wasn't as bad as we thought.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick. Pine Ridge. Which one is that, Waddy? Which one is Pine Ridge? And yeah, Lee. Oh, at Detroit. I felt bad for them. I was pulling for Detroit yesterday. I just felt bad for them. They kept putting up statistics about how bad the Lions are. It just made me wonder, how can one franchise be so bad? Okay. Fly out near Strong. I haven't played that one. Pine Ridge. That means you'll be up. You're up Patrick's way this morning, heading up in that direction. Patrick, how's the view of the lake?
It's very good right here. It
Really?
was super foggy in the morning yesterday, but once the fog cleared, it's a phenomenal view.
That sets up well. That means you can get up and go out and have coffee outside and kind of bundle up a little bit. They got like a little fire pit or anything y'all can use?
They do. We need to. It's super leafy in the yard right now. That's kind of going to be the next big task is clearing the yard of leaves because they're everywhere and they're filling up the fire pit, and it's an issue right now. But I'm gonna head back to Columbia like probably 3 or 4 today.
Gotcha.
Work tonight.
Looks like everybody's got something. Tony and Gilbert's heading out to a hunt club. Waddy's going to play golf. DC, what do you got going this morning? Lee, what do y'all? Lee, we don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with Satterfield. I think that's the $1 million question. After tomorrow night.
Yeah, I just did the 1-9 and double digits build.
Okay. I'm going to go back to Twitter here. I need to go back and did our tweet not go out? Yeah, there we go. There it is. If you are out and about today and you're tired of shopping and you want to see Heath Klein, because that sounds like something everybody would want to do. You know, if you've been shopping and you think, could really throw a curveball here on the Friday plans, go see that old Heath Klein. He will be broadcasting live today, 5 to 7 p.m. from Columbia Craft Brewing Company, 520 Green Street in Columbia. Free appetizers from 4 to 5. Be sure to stop by and register for your chance to win a $250 gift card to Gamecock Traditions, all thanks to T-Mobile, the official 5G sponsor of the SEC. No purchase necessary. Must be 18 or over. See site for details. Void where prohibited. Again, Heath Klein out today, 5 to 7 p.m. at Columbia Craft Brewing Company, 520 Green Street in Columbia. 803-404-6100. Let's get some of these predictions before we get to the prediction. Tony in Gilbert says Carolina by 11. And then Tony, your math's off here, but it is 6:30. He says Carolina by 11, 30-21. That's 9, but we'll pretend he meant 32-21. And then he says Hunt Club bound this morning in Branchville. Oh, have a good time, Tony. Good luck with that. Anonymous texter, Gator fan Michael says he's got South Carolina by 6 over Clemson, just based on the way Carolina has played against Florida and Auburn. There is momentum in the program, and Shane seems to have the offense settled into an identity that can be built upon against a vulnerable Clemson defense. Our good buddy Jim in Carolina Beach, he and his wife Terry weighing in this morning with predictions. Jim going 31-17 Tigers. His wife saying 27-24 Clemson. She's a Carolina graduate and a North Carolina graduate as well. So she's the smart one in the family, Jim. Glad you married her. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I believe Clemson Allen weighing in this morning. Clemson covering or just not covering the spread. 24-13 is what he is weighing in. Bun weighing in. He says money line. Gamecocks money line. We're winning this game. So a lot of people weighing in. If you want to do so, 803-404-6100 is how you can do so. I'll give everybody about 10 seconds now to get out your pencils and your pens. It is official prediction day. It is official, Jen, trash talking day. So this is Gamecock Larry's Christmas. We would all agree that this is the official Christmas day for Gamecock Larry. It is prediction day. It is the prime. This is it. There is no other day that is trash talking day, unlike the day before Carolina Clemson. Patrick, would you agree with that? The day before is prime trash talking day. Tomorrow we settle into the tailgate, and I think you become a little more nervous, a little more anxious. Would you agree with that?
Maybe, but it is a night game this year, so maybe you're a little nervous when you show up and just happy to be there. But you think by 6 o'clock, if you've been tailgating since 10, 11 a.m. with mimosas and Bloody Marys, you're not gonna be talking smack by 6 o'clock.
It's hard to say. I think you got that food coma hangover. I think for me it was a lot of bourbon yesterday that was consumed. I did a Bloody Mary for the first time in a long time yesterday. It was actually pretty delicious. There will probably be another one had today. Mimosas are over there on the counter, not too far away. That may occur at 9 a.m. But I feel like today is prime trash talking day, and it is also prediction day. So without further ado, we get out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Gamecock Larry, I feel like it's your Christmas day. The Gamecocks, they're underdogs, but I feel like you're not taking Clemson and the points. They are today, yes. There's a whole bunch of games today. They do play each other. No, they play each other today. They play at 3:30 on CBS today. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Good. Okay. 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 Go Gamecocks. Thank you for the fun. That is an energetic young man right there who is
We got 10 and a half
ready.
hours of sleep.
Well, yeah, that 10 and a half hours of sleep. I thought he was going to do his own. I thought we just lost the show, though, because I thought he was going to do his own personal college game day and just go through
Break
each
down
game.
every game.
When he had, I was, if you had Gamecock Larry making a prediction on Missouri, Arkansas, and you weren't at his Thanksgiving to know how he was going to script his phone call this morning, you're a genius, because I did not see him leading off with Missouri, Arkansas prediction to open his segment.
Well, that actually would have been. We should think about that going forward, just having Gamecock Larry involved in the entire pick segment, and then we just kind of mute the mic while we make our picks, and then we ask Gamecock Larry every single game. So the official prediction is, the official prediction is South Carolina minimum of 31, Clemson maximum of 24. So we're just going to go with the worst case scenario is South Carolina wins 31-24. Got it.
Worst case. It should be pointed out. And we'll give our picks here coming up at the end of the show. This, obviously, South Carolina and Clemson will be a game that we picked. It should be pointed out that Clemson, the max number of points they've given up this year has been 27. They've done it 3 times. 2 of them resulted in losses, NC State and Pittsburgh. They gave up 27 last week to Wake Forest. So making the prediction that South Carolina is going to put the most points up on Clemson this year, I feel is a little dangerous. But NC State obviously beat Clemson 27-21. Pittsburgh on the road 27-17. And then last week, Wake Forest puts up 27, but obviously lost 48-27. So I don't know if I'll be getting into the 30s with South Carolina this weekend, and if that's what they can do. But we will see. We'll see. So big thank you to Gamecock Larry. Glad he had a great Thanksgiving. Apparently, I've never felt like I've had to say this more. Call him and harass him. Apparently, he wants to be called. He wants to talk trash. Clemson Sean, get up. Call Gamecock Larry, harass him. Rude hog, call Gamecock Larry. He feels bad that you guys are not harassing him. Apparently, he wants you to call him this morning and harass him and talk a little trash. Support. I didn't know, Patrick and Jen, if I felt worse for the Detroit Lions or for Gamecock Larry, that nobody will call him and talk trash with him this morning. Felt bad. 803-404-6100. Let's go to the opposite end of the age spectrum. Our youngest caller, young Sean. Joining. Why are you up so early, young man? Shouldn't you be sleeping? How old are you, Sean? How old are you? Okay, actually, my son gets up but he gets up to play PlayStation, not to call sports talk radio shows. But I guess that's a thing we do when we're young. All right, you got a big prediction you're ready to make this weekend on the South Carolina Clemson game. What's your big prediction? Okay. All right. Big touch. You said touchdown? Big. Yes, that would definitely. All right, that would make it 26-20. But we all understand where you're coming from on that, and that would certainly be a big victory. Did you have a good Thanksgiving yesterday? What was your favorite side? Oh, okay. Attaboy. Yeah, there you go. There is some good trash talking. There is some good trash talking this morning. Good job, Clemson. All right, Clemson. Good job, young child. I
Have
almost called him
South
Clemson.
Carolina and Clemson ever gone to overtime?
No.
Never.
And thank you for the phone call, Sean. Yeah, I appreciate that. 26-20 is his prediction this morning. 803-404-6100. If you want to weigh in, Damon on the Buford Lending live stream says 27-13 South Carolina. Chuck weighing in with a good post-Thanksgiving morning to us. DC is up and heading to Tennessee this morning. Appreciate everybody who's being a part of the program. We'll get into some of those games that are taking place today as well. If you want to weigh in, 803-404-6100. That is where Jess hits us up on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Morning, sirs. Back at work this morning. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Gamecocks will win 35-28. Go Cox. Thank you, Jess. So another prediction in. Right now, you can also go to Patrick Perret's Twitter account, @_Patrick Perret, and he has got the question up. What will happen between Gamecocks and Clemson tomorrow? Right now, 50% of the vote already in. It'll be South Carolina by 1-9, 11% calling for a blowout Gamecock victory by 10 or more. Only 15% saying Clemson and 23% saying Clemson by 10. So 15% Clemson by 1-9 and 23% weighing in with Clemson by 10. If you want to vote on the poll question, you go to _Patrick Perret. If you want to weigh in this morning, 803-404-6100 is how you can do so. If you want to call in and give us a prediction, and please, if you call in, be like young Sean. Talk a little trash. Please talk a little trash so you can get Gamecock Larry riled up and ready to go this morning. He wants some trash talking, and I agree with him. It is the Friday before the South Carolina Clemson game. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. Oh, no time is better than getting out to Love Chevrolet to check out all the great deals taking place at Love Chevrolet. You can get out there now, and especially all the brand new Chevrolet Silverados that are in stock at Love Chevrolet. You can go check those deals out for yourself and see everything going on, whether it's the $1,000 low price guarantee, whether it's the incredible sales staff, whether it's the unlimited selection of vehicles, including those Chevrolet Silverados. Love Chevrolet has got you taken care of. So you need to get out there, I-26 between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park. You can also visit them on the web, lovechevy.com. The great folks at Love Chevrolet, they're not adding extra add-ons to right now their current prices, not taking advantage of customers during this time of low demand and low supply and high demand. Nope, they are simply going about their business as they have for over 60 years from when they first opened their doors. And now it's time for you to get out to Love Chevrolet. It'd be a great day to go stop by, visit, check out those great selection of Love Chevrolet Silverados or the incredible certified pre-owned lot. Maybe it's that time of the year you're thinking about getting that special someone a vehicle. Now's the great time to go see Love Chevrolet. I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, or on the web, lovechevy.com. Get out to Love Chevrolet and find new roads. What is going on with this TV this morning? All right. Look at this. All right. There we go. There was some planes, trains, and automobiles watching.
York said
Let
there
my
was
daughter
a
watch.
tie.
Huh?
York said there was a tie between Clemson and South Carolina.
Yep, there was a tie back in 86, I think.
Did they not have
That's not
overtime?
fair.
Or wait,
Huh?
there have been 4 ties.
Well, yeah. I didn't know exactly what he was referring to, but
They tied
I
in
just always said
1897.
there was at least one tie. Yeah. You said 87 was the tie?
No, 1897 there was a tie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think the last tie, obviously a tie cannot happen now, but I think the last one was in
1915, 1945, and the last one was in 1950. Nope, the last one was in 1986. You were right.
86. Yes. My memory was correct. I've been on a bit of a losing streak. Of course, I would have last night. I was going to take Mississippi, but I also would have taken the Saints last night. So I'm glad I didn't do either.
Is that what Brian said?
He didn't say Mississippi or Mississippi State, I don't think, but he did say the Saints.
Do you have the paper that has all of our games, or do I have that?
I got it.
All right.
This is what you wrote down, yeah. So I got this to follow if you remember it. You need me to put that in the little chat or anything, or you good? You remember them?
No, I'm gonna go gut feel on all of them.
No. I was saying you said you're gonna go gut feel. I was meaning, do you have the numbers? 8.5, 19.5?
I know close to what they are. I see them on Vegas Insider, but when I hear the number, I'll just go instinctual.
Okay. Eight 803-404-6100. That's how you can join us this morning on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line or the Love Chevy phone lines. A couple more people weighing in. Adam weighing in. He says, love my Gamecocks, but I don't think we're consistent enough. Tigers having a down year for them. I think we will close the gap, but not quite there yet. Give me Clemson 27, South Carolina 17. Eddie weighing in. Good morning. I predict nail biting and yelling at the TV. Go Gamecocks. That actually, yes, that would probably be definitely something that we can almost all guarantee. Chris weighing in on Twitter. He says, Willie B will definitely be rocking tomorrow night. Cox by 1 in a thriller. 803-404-6100, how you can weigh in if you want to send in your prediction. The game is sold out. Steve Fink and Ray Tanner announcing that on Wednesday. Again, you gotta say it's going. This should be fun. Patrick, we've been the last couple of games, Florida, Auburn. They've been great environments, but the upper deck has not been sold out. The upper deck has been empty in the corners. I'm interested to see if that's the case. I know all the tickets are gone, but I'm interested to see the atmosphere tomorrow night because, quite frankly, I don't remember. And maybe somebody can kind of go back. I don't even think when Clemson came here in 2019, it was a noon game. South Carolina was 4-7 at the time, and I think it was a massive point spread, 20+ points. South Carolina got to stop early at the goal line, and then things went south in a hurry. But Patrick, I don't remember the last time it was a full-on great environment at Williams-Brice Stadium. Obviously, last year, COVID, it was limited, and South Carolina didn't play Clemson. I don't remember the last time I could say Williams-Brice was really, really rocking and rolling, especially for a night game. I don't think it was the Kentucky game this year.
No, I mean, well, it was kind of rocking. I mean, it wasn't sold out. It wasn't the peak environment. What do we know officially when the last sellout was? Was it Bama or another?
It seems like it.
Kentucky, maybe. I don't even know.
That's what I'm saying. I think tomorrow night's environment will be something we haven't seen in quite some time. You got some excitement. You've got a South Carolina program that believes that they can get the job done. The fan base probably as good as they felt about a game with Clemson or as confident as they felt. I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years. It's been a while. It's been a while, and we will see how it all shakes out in about doing the math on it. What is it, about 38 hours? Does that seem right? I just ballparked it. I just guessed. Said 36. Does that seem right?
36 and a half hours.
36 and a half. How about that?
Yeah.
We will do a whole nother hour. We'll look at the schedule. It will be starts today at noon. We'll get into that and more of your thoughts and picks. You're listening to the Early Game, 107.5 Game. Good morning, Robin, and way to sleep in. Glad you could sleep in.
Bill's still sleeping in.
Oh, I'm only through 1 cup of coffee.
I've been trying to drink coffee, even stuff in it. Ugh.
Gonna have to teach you. All right, I'll be right back. Oh.
It's so quiet in here. I agree, DC. What's going to stink, though, is if we do, then Clemson fans aren't going to give us credit. They'll just say, well, we had a bad year, or people are injured, and Thank you, Wadi. You too.
Yeah, is anybody working this morning? Or are we all just hanging out at home?
So I'm working.
Jen is working.
Excellent. I say there's got to be some dogs.
Yeah, 3.
It's like my house.
2. I don't know where the third is. It is falling down. Just fall. They just all go running, flying across the house. 12 minutes if they hear a noise or whatever. One person gets alerted and then they all freak out.
Oh, yeah.
They loved the dock yesterday, though. They had a great time by the water.
Did they?
Probably.
We have a we have a husky, and I tell you, these cooler evenings, she's outside on the patio.
Loves
Like
it.
she's just leave me out here. She's her own frosty paw.
I mean, does she get super hot in the summer?
Yeah, when we first got her, literally within the first day, she knew where pretty much all of the air conditioning vents were in the house, where they all were.
Smart.
She just lays on them. Yep.
Is Reg in there? I wonder if she ran into Tessa's room. Well, Polly was bouncing back and forth all night. She couldn't figure it out.
That's funny.
Actually, it might be.
Ooh, that sounds fun. That's a lot of deer meat. I need to play that game, Jason, in my house. Dysfunctional bingo. How fun. We could actually play that every morning in here. Every day is dysfunctional something for sure.
The whole crew.
Awesome.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Are any of them barkers?
Yes. Yeah, this one's a barker. Polly's more of a talker, like crier and like whiner. This one's a major barker. And then one is super quiet. The golden doodle is super quiet usually.
That's nice. Our oldest one loves to bark, and it just drives me nuts.
It's loud, probably.
There's a couple of words that, if he could speak, he would be an obscene dog because of what I will say to him. Shut the up. He was pretty good, Robin. Thank you. Very quiet. I don't know that I like that. All right, we're back in.
Oh, right. 2 or 3 this hour, Jen.
I'm sorry. 3. Let me text you. Yep.
Friday morning, the countdown on. Hopefully, a lot of you had a fantastic Thanksgiving, getting the chance to be back around, maybe the whole family get together, not do the whole Zoom Thanksgiving where you're just enjoying a cheeseburger and maybe the side was French fries. Yesterday, you got a chance. Was it yesterday? Or was it? We did two. I was with my family on Wednesday night. And we did a big Thanksgiving there. And then I was with Lauren's family on yesterday, and her family did a big one. And then we did oysters. I did oysters. Came home yesterday afternoon and grilled oysters. We did oysters Rockefeller. We did steamed oysters. It was just kind of we'd had enough turkey Wednesday night and Thursday. But I think at some point I did see. And I didn't try it, so I let everybody down, and I totally apologize. But I believe I did see a sweet potato side dish.
Casserole? Yeah.
I believe I did see it. Also, yesterday saw sweet potato pie. I did not eat that either. I ate a little bit of cheesecake. I threw a curveball. We ate the last of the pecan pie last night. We still have an apple pie over there, and a chocolate torte is still in my yeah. So we covered.
Is that right?
Okay. I would say it's not more solid. It's very rich. Let's put it that way. It's something that I ate a small slice of it, and it was extremely chocolatey. It was something. It was something to behold. I don't know how much more of that I can eat. Someone also made some fudge for the family that was quite delicious. So all in all, it was a very solid, I would say 24 hours starting Wednesday night of food. Plenty of turkey. I really did more this year of the turkey and dipping it or swirling it around in the cranberry sauce. That was...
people have been sold out of cranberry sauce. I looked for a can of cranberry sauce, and my parents looked for a can of cranberry sauce. I think we both looked at Publix, and Publix was sold out of all of their cranberry sauce.
My father makes his own. I guess he doesn't. I guess he buys the cranberries. I shouldn't say that he's out like gardening and making growing cranberries. But I was gonna say, yeah, I don't. But he does. I guess he purchased them. He makes his own cranberry sauce, and it was actually pretty good. So it was a fantastic day. To cranberry sauce?
Well, I'm like avoiding cranberry sauce because just all cranberries, because there were, I think the first 3 times in my life that I had cranberry juice or cranberry something, I threw up. So I've just been operating on the assumption that I can't drink cranberry juice or eat any cranberry affiliated foods or drinks for my whole life. So I'm just never going to have a cranberry anything.
Didn't see that one coming.
But I did want to buy a can because I think only my dad and girlfriend eat it, but it does add a different color to the Thanksgiving table. So I wanted to have it on the table.
Okay, there you go. That different color. That is, yeah. Look at you, always on top of it. He is our. Go ahead.
I've never heard of the chip beef ball. What is that? Oh, I'm looking at it.
Just for a kind of an appetizer as people are hanging out. Okay. I was gonna say I don't think that's strange at all. I've never had it to my knowledge, but then again, I feel like that's something that very easily could have popped up at one of our family dinners or whatever, and I'm just unaware of it. And yeah, spread it on a cracker and have a good time. So yeah, it was a good day. Sounds like the 3 of us had very nice, very low key for Jen Thanksgiving dinners, which is good. That is different than it's been in years past for the Gunner family, where there's been some wild incidents, but this year very low key. Nothing major that took place. Got out and threw the football around with Austin a little bit, and the daughter got out there, played a little defensive back, and she's aggressive. She didn't understand what pass interference was, and the Gunner family football game. Austin got laid out one time going across the middle by my 12-year-old daughter. I had to then explain. He was fine. He hopped up kind of, and hopped around after that for a minute on a bum ankle. But yeah, he was going across the middle, and the daughter just laid him out with little problem whatsoever. So I had to then explain to her what pass interference was. So she is now very aware, although she came back and committed the same penalty on the next one when she chunked him down again. So she may have had some pent up aggression that she was ready to get out of her brother, and the family football game gave her every opportunity to take him out with small repercussions. So yeah, it was a fun time for us. 803-404-6100. How you can join us this morning if you want to tell us some of the food that you enjoyed and the festivities at your house, or if you want to weigh in with a prediction. We've got a poll question up right now, 803-404-6100. You can also go to Patrick Perrett's Twitter account @_Patrick Perrett if you want to weigh in right now. The poll question, we broke it down to a couple different categories. You got South Carolina by 1 to 10, South Carolina by more than 10. We've got Clemson by 1 to 10, and Clemson by more than 10 are the several different ways you can vote right now. South Carolina win, not by 10, by 1 to 9. South Carolina with 44.8% of the vote so far this morning. Gamecocks winning by 1 to 9. Clemson by 10 or more is in second place with 20.9% of the vote. So you can go vote there, or you can get in touch with us. 803-404-6100 is how you can do that. Patrick, again, we've talked about this game. We've gone back and forth. Offense for South Carolina against the defense for Clemson. The offense of Clemson versus the South Carolina defense. And I think that's another question we'll ask here is Clemson's offense. The running game seems to be getting a little bit better. Now, the Connecticut team, they're not very good at football, so you throw that game out. Wake Forest, the defense, not very good for Wake Forest, so I tend to kind of ignore some of that. But I go back to the Louisville game. Clemson won that game 30-24. It's probably Clemson's best win in the last few weeks because, again, I thought Clemson at home, they were favored. The Wake Forest defense really struggling. But in that Louisville game, Clemson was not able to really get the ground game going. 36 carries, 125 yards. It was Will Shipley with 14 carries for 47 yards. Last week, going to the Auburn game, Patrick, we knew Tank Bigsby would probably have a big game. What are you expecting from Will Shipley, Kobe Pace, and anybody else that Clemson elects to use to run the football?
Well, I'm kind of thinking it's going to be what we expect from South Carolina, is just giving up yards, but kind of holding firm when it comes down to it, which I don't really understand. I don't think just based off the personnel and whatnot that Clemson should be able to just light up South Carolina defense. I think we talked a lot about the amount of bodies that South Carolina is able to throw on. I don't actually know. I don't know enough about if Clemson's going to be tends to play with a lot of pace, or they're running a lot of plays quickly, or they tend to go slower and get everything set up. And if South Carolina has time to substitute, I don't see why they should be just getting gashed left and right and giving up a ton of yards. I think they should be a little bit better, and Clemson's been, I guess, a little bipolar with their running game. So I'm not expecting huge. I think if South Carolina lets up a 100-yard rusher, that would be a huge disappointment. If Clemson can get one guy that goes for over 100 yards, that would not bode well for the Gamecocks. But I don't think it's going to be anything terrible like that. I'm not expecting 250 yards on the ground from Clemson.
I think the key is for the Tigers is being able to add.
And then same thing with South Carolina, obviously, but right now I'm talking about the Clemson offense versus the South Carolina defense, to take the pressure off of DJU and to force South Carolina to step up at the line of scrimmage. We always hear the SEC is a line of scrimmage league, and South Carolina, when they were at their best, was winning the line of scrimmage against Clemson and being able to impose their will. That's changed in years. And now Clemson, obviously, their defensive line has improved dramatically. South Carolina's got some talented players there, but at times this year, as you mentioned, they've been gashed. How can Will Shipley, Kobe Pace being the other guy that they've kind of turned to more so recently, how do those guys get in there and affect this game and, again, take some of that pressure off of DJU and in turn put pressure on the South Carolina offense to try and keep up?
Well, it's going to be more the South Carolina defensive line because the linebackers, I don't know what the deal is there, but if Clemson's running backs are getting free to the second level every time, and it just becomes a one-on-one battle, and South Carolina's linebackers need to be relied on to make solo tackles all day long or all night long, that's gonna be a problem. But the defensive line needs to really just kind of eat. Like Zach Pickens, I think Zach Pickens needs to have a really big game. I think Jabari Ellis needs to have a big game, and then both your ends. I don't know who's going to end up playing more between Jordan Strawn and Jordan Birch, but I do feel like if it's going to be a rushing-led attack, then you're going to really need to have more Birch and Sterling there on the edge with Kingsley Enagbare, because Strawn's a little bit smaller of a guy. He's a better pass rusher, but maybe save him for the obvious passing downs and let him try and pin his ears back a little bit. But those guys have to be really good setting the edge and playing strong. I'm sure Enagbare will have a great game. He's only had great games this year. He's been phenomenal and one of the underrated players in the country. But I think it's those interior guys are going to have a big game. Maybe Alex Huntley and some of those guys that are going to get in later on, you're going to have to be able to hold up, because if Clemson's running a lot of plays and wearing you down, you got to be strong there right in the middle, and don't let it come down to the linebackers making plays in space is really the end of the day. That's going to be the most important part. And yeah, I think all South Carolina fans would be pretty happy if you could neutralize the running game. And it comes down to DJ having to make plays with his arm and maybe with his legs too, if he's breaking the pocket and doing things like that. But with a injured finger and already accuracy problems, if it comes down to him having to beat you with his arm, I think that's the best chance, the best course of action for anyone in a Garnet uniform.
It'll be interesting. We'll continue to talk about it. 803-404-6100 is how you can join us this morning. If you want to do so, you can weigh in via the Cool Care Heating and Air text line or the Love Chevy phone lines. Mitch weighing in on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. He says, hope South Carolina practiced with just 3 offensive linemen this week. That should replicate the kind of pressure they will face. Gamecocks 17, Dabos 14. So even then taking it, and we'll get into that offense and for South Carolina versus the defense for Clemson. But you make a good point on the linebackers. One of the more interesting comments made, because we were all confused on this, but Brad Johnson saying on Wednesday after we were off air, Brad Johnson, the linebacker for South Carolina, that he hasn't decided on his senior seat on whether he's going to come back or not. I guess he's eligible, Patrick, because he took a redshirt year last year in 2020. So that would make him, but I guess you didn't have to take a redshirt year. You just got that year. I'm not sure. 2019 is listed as his junior year. I don't know if Brad Johnson gets an extra year this year. All very confusing. I'll just say that it's all very confusing. He seems to be under the impression he can come back, and Brad Johnson's been very good at rushing the passer. And that's why I bring up his name. And he's a bigger linebacker for South Carolina, 6'3", in the area of 235 as he slimmed down a little bit. He's a guy that if you blitz and you get a shot at DJ, you got to be able to get him on the ground. Bigger quarterback. Yep. You cannot let – we saw that against Wake Forest. They blitzed one time. DJ was able to step out of it, make a move in the pocket. Certainly he's got the arm to get the ball downfield. So that'll be something. JJ Barre, another guy who I think will get a shot or two tomorrow night to take down DJ. And again, when you get that chance, you got to get him on the ground and not allow him to scramble and maybe make a big play down the field, beat South Carolina. Those defensive backs for South Carolina have shown that they can be beaten deep.
Yeah, and so what I'm curious about, I was thinking on Adam's text, which is I don't think we're consistent enough on offense. Tigers are having a down year. I think we closed the gap, but not quite there yet. As we move forward, I want to know, are people feeling good about this game because it is a down year for Clemson, or are we feeling that basically this is your best shot in a long time and it's going to be your best shot going forward too? Or do we think that South Carolina is closing the gap, like South Carolina's up and Clemson is on their way down? Or do we think this is just kind of a random blip for Clemson and they're going to be right back to top 5 in the country next year and you'll probably be a 20-point underdog again next year? Or do we actually think like things are trending the opposite direction right now?
I'll give you my take on that when we come back. That's a good question, but I think it's an easy answer on that. But I'll give you my take when we come back. You're listening to the early game on 107.5, The Game. Clemson's just not, Jason, I just think Clemson's just not as dynamic. They don't have an ETN who I think terrifies you to go 80 yards. Just Shipley and Pace have not shown that for me just yet. Or shown that to me.
Weekend.
Hi, I'm Lewis, Pro Football Hall of Famer, and it's great time cheers.
Pro football's all-time hero, Elliott Smith, talks about joint pain.
Trust me, I know about joint pain. Sure, I made it look easy, but if my body can speak, it would say, I am pain.
Are you living with chronic joint pain? Knees, hips, lower back, shoulders? Don't just assume the old treatments are the only treatments.
I've gone under the knife to get rid of pain. Now there are options, and you need to check them out.
Let's talking about QC Kinetics, exciting new natural biologic therapies that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints. New options now available now.
Encourage your body to actually heal itself with the help of QC Connect.
Real relief with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics for regenerative restorative treatments with lasting relief.
And now, you and I, we have help. QC Connect. Call QC Connect. 803-281-6860. That's 803-281-6860. QC Connect.
You know what? I didn't even put that together on Iona and Rick Pitino. You know what? That's true. They took down Alabama. I did see that, but I didn't watch the game. But I totally forgot about Rick Pitino being there. I just saw the score and didn't even think about it.
This is the only Christmas they will get. Soft Spoils blankets, even a $10 donation can mean so much. Visit BetchRite.org for gift suggestions. Drop off your questions. Make a donation. Visit BetchRite.org. That's BetchRite.org.
I totally didn't even put two and two together on that. It's turning into a beautiful morning back there. I don't know if y'all can see that. It is just really
It is.
turning into. I think it feels pretty good. I think. Wind is blowing in from behind me, which is nice. Keeps it from being too chilly out there.
It's beautiful on Gervais Street.
Is it beautiful on Gervais Street? It's
Sure.
always beautiful. Always beautiful on Gervais Street.
Exactly. That'd be amazing, Jason. You can just show up and be like in the mirror. It'd be fun.
Just be in the background. Yeah, you can. People come to fish between these two docks all the time. I've seen them catch a couple small ones. I don't know how the fishing is right now.
Good job.
Oh, Robin, go work out. All right. I think I'm actually, Jen, you got bar 3 today?
I'm waiting till Monday because I've still got stitches in my mouth, so I'm having to be a little careful on too much. So
I'm thinking about, I definitely may go sit in the sauna today at the old Move Fitness and just sweat out some of the things.
gluttony.
Patrick, is Polly loving the setup there? Is that Polly was behind you now on the couch?
Yeah, that's Polly. And then Kennedy laying down right there. And Reagan is rolling up right now.
Jason, what should I be using? What are you using the Pepsi Crapper? Are we using worms? We haven't used minnows.
Cats.
I haven't done what?
Using cats as bait. Like, yeah.
Cats. Yeah, we'll throw cat minnows. Okay. Shallow
We're heading
water.
back
Or,
in. You're back. All right, you're up. Yep.
Reminder, this afternoon, you can go hang out with Heath Klein, Columbia Craft Brewing Company, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., 520 Green Street in Columbia. There will be free appetizers from 4 to 5 p.m. Be sure to stop by and register for your chance to win a $250 gift card to Gamecock Traditions, all thanks to T-Mobile, the official 5G sponsor of the SEC. No purchase necessary, must be 18 or over. See site for details. Void where prohibited. I'll be getting out there. I haven't decided my plans today, Patrick. I kind of want to get down. They've got the Gamecock Gastro Pub down at Williams-Brice Stadium that you can kind of go and hang out with. I did that last week from 4 to 7. They actually had a really good old-fashioned, kind of a black cherry old-fashioned that was pretty good. You go down down at the 2001 Club down there at Williams-Brice Stadium from 4 to 7 p.m. and was pretty cool. Might get down and do that. Might go see Heath over at Columbia Craft Brewing Company as well. Again, today you can go visit him. Free appetizers from 4 to 5, and Heath from 5 to 7, 520 Green Street in Columbia. Be sure to stop by and register for your chance to win a $250 gift card to Gamecock Traditions, T-Mobile, and 107.5 Game, teaming up each and every Friday here at the end of the football season to get you out. T-Mobile, the official 5G sponsor of the SEC. No purchase necessary, must be 18 or over. See site for details. Void where prohibited. So,
you know, the cool thing about that is that Heath, we have these things, and Heath, the free appetizer 4 to 5, but Heath is free 4 to 7, 5 days a week.
that's right.
I don't know if you've ever really thought about that. I mean, that's a value right there.
He is, and I will be doing the
Best deal
pregame
in
show
town.
with him tomorrow. Best deal, yeah, free right here on 107.5 Game.
No
You can
coupon needed.
listen. Yeah, he's just a good time. Full of Luke Bryan songs. He is that Heath Klein. 5 to 7. Go visit him this afternoon. Columbia Craft Brewing Company. Mentioning today again. This is to Patrick. Again, this is to me actually. I guess the NCAA tournament, the NCAA basketball tournament is fun and neat, and it's a different event altogether. But it's one sport. Today you've got at 4 o'clock, and we're not going to get into this, but at 4 o'clock you got Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau in the match from the golf course out there in Las Vegas, the Wynn Resort. So you got a little golf if you want to get into that. You've got college football. You got college basketball. Obviously, we'll have NFL on Sunday. So much going on. And I mentioned I'm trying to figure out my day plans. But starting at noon today, you've got 4 games going on. Boise State is at San Diego State. So that's a 9 a.m. kickoff out there at San Diego State. Am I right on that time difference? It's Boise State's at number 21, San Diego State, CBS, 9 a.m. kickoff there at San Diego State. I don't know how I would react to 9 a.m. college football.
Well, you got a sneak peek of it in Vegas, right?
Well, but I mean going to the game. Like if
Yeah.
you're right. I knew what it was like. And let me tell you, by halftime of the noon games, so 10:30 out there, I could tell it was going to be a fight. It was going to be a real struggle. But I'm not sure if you're actually going to the game, how exactly you handle. Are you out at 6 a.m. tailgating?
I can't imagine so. I would think you have to be showing up in sometime around 7, maybe get one drink in you, cook a couple eggs on the grill, and then head in. You're not really going to get a nice full buzz going if you're 9 a.m. kick.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if
Not
San
unless
Diego
you stayed
State
up all
sells.
night.
Right. It's also, I don't know if San Diego State sells beer in the stadium. I'm going to go ahead and guess no. But they do have the best punter in college football history. So you should probably watch that game today.
You got that. Also at noon today, what a year, Patrick, for Texas. Kansas State and Texas today. I need to get my point spreads up here in front of me. But Kansas obviously has lost 6 in a row. They sit at 4-7. And Patrick, here's the weird thing about this. It all started. They were 4-1. The Sarkisian train was rolling along. No bumps in the road. They'd had the one minor bump they'd lost on the road at Arkansas. And at that point, it actually kind of you say, man, Arkansas was pretty good. I kind of, they're not bad. That's not a bad loss.
By the game
Texas gets up 28-7 on Oklahoma. Looks like they're absolutely going to cruise in that ball game. They give up the 28-7 lead, and then they've proceeded to lose 5 more after that. Some of them in pretty bad fashion. You've had players filming coaches on the team bus going on rants. You've had weird questions asked to Steve Sarkisian in the post game media press conference. For what?
I was talking to a caller.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, we heard. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Gamecock Larry weighing back in on the phone lines. But I mean, Patrick, you look at Texas, and again today they've lost 6 straight, but 5 straight after that Oklahoma game. They've lost to Oklahoma State, Baylor, and then Iowa State beat them 30-7. The embarrassing Kansas loss 57-56, and then last week at West Virginia 31-23. Noon today against Kansas State, and if they lose, it's 4-8 in Sarkisian's first year.
And you look at it, and I mean, you do see after the TCU game, you lose to the best 4 teams in the Big 12 with number 10 Oklahoma, number 7 Oklahoma State, number 9 Baylor, and then Iowa State, who was a preseason top 10 team. But the Kansas one, I mean, what is going to be the lasting story or image of this Texas season? Is it going to be losing to Kansas? Is it going to be the monkey situation at the Halloween party? Is it going to be the coach yelling at the team on the bus while the players record it? Like what is it going to be? And I don't know. I still think it's insane to think that Sarkisian could be let go after 1 year. But if you end the season with 7 straight losses, you go 4-8 with a preseason top 25 team and a still generally talented roster. I don't know. I mean, I think Sarkisian's a really good coach. I think he's a great offensive mind. I don't know what he is as a head coach. I haven't seen him talk. I don't know how he handles media. I don't know how he recruits, but I do think he's one of the smartest coaches in college football. But I mean, not that winning will salvage anything today. I mean, your season's over at 3:30 or 4 o'clock this afternoon, and you're not going to be happy with 5 wins. But it just seems so ridiculous to make a change right now. And what would he make? Like $18 million, $20 million, something like that if he gets fired after this game?
I don't know. I don't think they're going to fire. I mean, again, Southern Cal's open, LSU's open, Florida's open. You just spent $50 some odd million.
Where would Texas fit into that, by the way?
If you fire Tom Herman was not bad. Like Tom Herman should be able to get another head coaching job. It wasn't up to Texas standards. I get that. Although I don't know what Texas standards are because we talk about like one of the most underachieving football programs in all of the country. But Tom Herman was not a bad football coach. He went 7-6, 10-4, 8-5, and 7-3. He was 32-18 at Texas, 22-13 in conference play. He won 4 bowls, including a Sugar Bowl. He was 4-0 in bowl games. Tom Herman is still a very attractive head football coach, in my opinion. And I think this year, I don't know where you rank like 7-3 in a COVID year. I don't know. I don't know what his stats will be. But you paid a lot of money to get rid of Tom Herman, to bring in Steve Sarkisian, and now you're kind of staring down the barrel. Kansas State comes in at 7-4 today. Kansas State is a 3-point underdog. Texas is favored in this game today, 12 noon on Fox, I believe, is the channel that you can check that out. It's going to be interesting to see where the Texas Longhorns go because, Patrick, you're 4-8. You got Sarkisian. We don't know the exact date yet for when Texas and Oklahoma enter the SEC. But if you're going 4-8 right now in the Big 12, however the SEC elects to divide everything up, whether it's pods or just throwing you out there with A&M, with Oklahoma, with Alabama, throw LSU in the mix, it's not getting easier for a Texas program that, again, is underachieving and right now is a massive failure here in 2021.
Right. And I actually do. I tried not to read too much into one game, but the way Texas comes out today really could be indicative of Sarkisian, how the players feel about Sarkisian or something like that. Because if you come in on a 6-game losing streak against the Kansas State team, that's a pretty good team, and you sleep on them and you get blown out and there's just no energy and no effort, that could just be a very dangerous sign going forward that guys just don't want to play here, don't want to play for him, and it could send a message that ultimately you might just want to cut ties before you burn another year next year, or they can come in fired up, play a great game, and you can at least go into next season saying, we don't really have anything to build off of this season, but we know that we have to give him another chance. We don't have to just burn $20 million here, because it would just be it's a bad time to be a Texas fan. If you end the season with 4 wins after a 7-win season and making a coaching change with all the offseason drama you've had and the SEC looming, it's just not good times, especially Texas A&M's having a really good season. Oklahoma's having a down year, but they're still a top 10 team, and they still might win the Big 12. It's just ugly right now, and I would wonder, is Texas a better job than Southern Cal right now? It's not a better job than Florida or LSU, or really maybe Virginia Tech. I don't even know.
Yeah, we'll discuss. We'll continue to discuss coming up today at 3:30 Cincinnati and East Carolina. I only bring that up because our buddy on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line, Richard, weighs in. He says, I'm looking forward to East Carolina versus Cincinnati today. Get Cincinnati out of the college football playoff. Let's go Pirates. We'll get into those afternoon games when we return. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. Always heard me now talking about QC Kinetics and getting you back into your lifestyle, getting yourself back up and running. And I tell you what, with 2022 just around the corner, now is the time to dedicate yourself to getting back to the way you like to live in 2022. If you've been suffering from joint pain, you can qualify for the QC Kinetics difference. That's right, the non-surgical solutions and treatment. Now is the time to give them a phone call, 803-281-6860. All consultations are free. If you've been dealing with issues in your muscles, your ligaments, your tissues, if you're wanting to get rid of inflammation with your knees, your hips, your fingers, now's the time. No steroids, no opioids. Give QC Kinetics a phone call today and get your quality of life back with a free consultation. 803-281-6860. It's a pain management clinic that specializes in regenerative medicine, and they want to get you back to living the way you used to. So if you've been experiencing issues with muscles, with ligaments, with tissues, if you're suffering from joint pain, you may qualify for the QC Kinetics difference, and you need to give them a phone call today. 803-281-6860. Again, it is at the forefront of modern medicine with no steroids, no opioids. They're not going to hurt you. They're going to make sure they do it the non-surgical way, all natural, and it is with regenerative medicine. 803-281-6860. Call QC Kinetics today and get that free consultation. Jason, I don't know, man. That Texas program, it's something else. I think they're without Bijan Robinson. I think he's out for the season, if I'm thinking correctly. He's done for today. That would be big. So a lot going on there. You know, and then again, them coming to the SEC. Go Pirates. Yeah, we'll get into these afternoon games. Shoot. Second half of the program already. We're rolling right along.
Did you talk to Deering this morning? Is he up and ready?
He retweeted.
Okay.
He retweeted. So that lets me know he is good to go. I guess today is that maybe I should go ahead and get the Christmas stuff out of the attic this morning.
Get set up.
I guess I should go down and get my grandmother's Christmas tree for her too. That would be the sweet thing I do today. That way she can.
Are you buying it at a little pop-up lot?
I don't know. We're in kind of a weird situation with the Christmas tree because normally I would go with the kids, but we're kind of all tied up over the next week. And I feel like if I put the Christmas tree up December 5th, then I'm way behind.
Kind of.
And like I said, I've already gotten my dad. I ordered my dad. I feel a lot better. What was it we were talking? Was it last week? I think it was last week, not this week. I feel like I went ahead and ordered my dad's gift the other day. That'll be here this week. I've got some of the kids' stuff ordered yesterday. I got to go to Best Buy and pick it up today. The rest I pick up on Monday. So I feel like I've been able to do a few things to get going here. Bought some. I can't remember the name brand of it, but some spiked eggnog. Well, what is the name brand of that?
We're back, Bill.
Yeah, I'm right. Pennsylvania Dutch.
That's
Pennsylvania
very
Dutch
expensive,
eggnog.
Sorry,
Huh?
Jason's comment. Hey, Israel.
We are past Thanksgiving, so you can officially. I was just on the Buford Lending live stream. We were just talking about maybe Christmas decorating. Jason saying he's got a 6-foot Christmas tree with $60. Yeah, Christmas trees not cheap. So maybe you've got the artificial tree, but it is Christmas. We were talking on the live stream about getting the trees out of the attic if you've got that, or going and purchasing one, getting the Christmas decorations out. While you also have some great Christmas music coming to Colonial Life Arena Wednesday, December 8th. Trans-Siberian Orchestra is at Colonial Life Arena. Tickets are on sale now. A portion of the proceeds will benefit Family Promise of the Midlands, a charity that aims to help families experiencing homelessness in their quest to achieve sustainable independence. Tickets on sale now. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, TSO, is coming back to Columbia Wednesday, December 8th, Colonial Life Arena. You can be there. Go purchase tickets. They're on sale now. And again, a portion of those proceeds will benefit Family Promise of the Midlands, a charity that aims to help families experiencing homelessness in their quest to achieve sustainable independence. 803-404-6100, how you can weigh in this morning on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line or the Love Chevy phone lines this afternoon. So we mentioned those noon games. There are a few other noon games if you want to subject yourself to that. Eastern Michigan is at Central Michigan. Big game there. That's a noon game. Ohio, Bowling Green also at noon. 1 o'clock, Utah State at New Mexico, Patrick. And then 1:30, the Big Ten kind of cobbled this game together to make for an interesting post-Thanksgiving game. Number 16, Iowa at Nebraska. And I only bring this game up before we get into the 3:30 games because Nebraska continues, Patrick, to lose one-score football games under Scott Frost, who will be back. But they lose again last week to Wisconsin, 35-28. Their losses this year, Patrick, and Nebraska's 3-8. This is crazy. Their losses this year are to Illinois by 8, to Oklahoma by 7, Michigan State by 3, Michigan by 3, Minnesota by 7, Purdue by 5, Ohio State by 9, and Wisconsin by 7. 8 losses, none by double digits. And that is right now the story of the Scott Frost era. Oh, so close, but never, ever getting the job done.
I guess that's progress for them because they're not getting blown out by anybody, but I just don't know. I guess that's their rationale for you're going to be an 8-loss team. You got to have some sort of sacrifice. So pretty much the whole staff gets fired, but you can hang your hat on, well, we haven't gotten blown out by anybody, so we'll go ahead and keep Scott Frost here because he was just such a home run hire at the time, and we have a lot of money committed to him, and maybe somehow you can build off of this next year. But I don't know. I've fully accepted that the glory days of Nebraska are gone, and I completely missed all of them. I'll never see a good Nebraska team in my lifetime. And I don't know. I don't know what the path forward for them is. I think they're kind of doomed. I think they should just try and build like all the other Big Ten teams. Try and be a Wisconsin. Try and be an Iowa where you can get yourself ranked, be happy with being ranked every year, and go to a decent bowl game and be a 9-3, peak at like a 10-2 season where you creep into the top 15 here and there. I think they're going to be a completely doomed program. I don't know how they're going to recruit there, and I don't know how this is going to lead into next season. Is Adrian Martinez back again?
He next year, I'm not sure. He is out today. For those that wonder, he is out. That might actually give Nebraska.
I mean, how long has he been out this year? I have not watched Nebraska at all. Has he been out for weeks now, and I just haven't noticed?
No, he played against Wisconsin last week, so he's around. Scott Frost at Nebraska. This is year 4 for him. As things stand today, he's 15-28 overall. Patrick, 15-28 overall. He is now, after last week, and they lost to Wisconsin. Scott Frost at Nebraska in one-score ball games is 5-19. He's 15-28 overall. 19 of the 28 losses have been by one score or less. It is kind of mind-boggling what is going on there in Lincoln. And you're right. I grew up in the era of Tommy Frazier, Lawrence Phillips, that whole just bludgeoning Florida down. I never liked Nebraska, but they just blew out Florida 62-24 in a Fiesta Bowl for the national championship. I remember the epic games against Miami in the Orange Bowl, the loss that Nebraska had to Bobby Bowden in Florida State for Bowden's first national championship. I do agree with you. You missed the golden era of Nebraska football. Other games today as well as we kind of go on. Again, that 3:30 game, East Carolina and Cincinnati. Cincinnati, a big favorite in that one. Just something to keep an eye on, though. East Carolina, we all were familiar with them from earlier in the season. Last year, Cincinnati faked a punt up 32 with about a minute and a half to go in that ball game. I'm not saying that that's going to be the thing that pushes East Carolina over the top today and they go on to win. The game is in Greenville, North Carolina. Cincinnati, a 14-point favorite in that game, 3:30. You can check it out, ABC.
Not that many points.
It wouldn't be a complete shock, but still Cincinnati, they are now in the top 4 of that college football playoff, and it'll be their responsibility, it appears. I don't know if they can be jumped or not. And when I say jumped or not, Michigan and Ohio State, obviously tomorrow, we'll pick that game coming up in about 45 minutes. You've also got Alabama and Georgia up here. It would appear that if Alabama loses, they would fall out as well. But it doesn't look like Cincinnati can be jumped. It looks like they'd stay in the college football playoff, most likely at number 4. One SEC game today, Missouri at Arkansas. Missouri now bowl eligible after beating Florida last week. Arkansas kind of needs this game, Patrick, and we'll talk about it just briefly. But Arkansas 7-4. The way the season started, 4-0. A lot of hype around Sam Pittman and what Arkansas was going to do. They were competitive with Alabama, but you lose this one and you finish 7-5. It is an improvement on what they did last year, and it's more wins than Vegas expected. But I feel like people would be a little disappointed after the way their season started.
Yeah, but I think we saw this coming too. I mean, we looked at that hot start and said, "Oh my gosh!" And I think we talked about it in like week 5. Is this season already a success for Arkansas? Because you look through the absolute, I'm pulling up their schedule right now, but it was an absolute grind for like 4 or 5 weeks when they had A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss, Auburn, and then 2 weeks later it's Mississippi State, LSU, Alabama, like just absolutely brutal schedule, which is the case every year for Arkansas. But I think they got a little bit lucky that LSU's on the down year, although Mississippi State's probably a little bit better than we expected. Yeah, I mean, they had a really good performance last week. I don't think anyone's upset by losing to Alabama by 7 points. You win this one, I think you're really, really happy. I think Arkansas fans are already completely bought in on Sam Pittman. I've seen even national people talking about who's going to be the SEC coach of the year, and I think it's going to be Shane Beamer is going to be in that discussion. Sam Pittman will be in that discussion. Josh Heupel will be in that discussion, and then probably Kirby Smart will be in that discussion. So, yeah, Arkansas fans, this year is going to go down as a success, but it's going to be hard to build off of that and be any better than it was this year because their schedule's never going to get easier. So it's just a really tough job. But if you're a Razorback fan, you're really excited. And I, as a South Carolina fan, will be really excited to go to Fayetteville next year and check that scene out.
803-404-6100. That's how you can join us this morning. Getting you ready. Again, we'll talk more about that South Carolina Clemson game in the last hour. Chris Deering coming up in about 20 minutes as well. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. Troy, I agree with you. We kind of talked a little bit about that. We'll talk more about it in the last hour. That South Carolina, that Clemson, the most they've given up this year is 27, and that probably needs to be more low scoring, which I think is very possible.
We had a boat drive by and all the dogs freaked out. Well, Polly mostly.
All the dogs freaked out.
Polly was barking at the boat. This is the deck.
Looks good.
Yeah, it's very, very nice to wake up to the lake view.
Yes, and it's a beautiful time of the year.
And I'm watching Aerial America. I've talked about this on the show before, but Aerial America South Carolina is on the Smithsonian channel right now.
All right, big morning then.
And switch to YouTube TV as well, Bill. I think they're liking it so far.
You know what? I had an issue with mine, and so my live channels got all reset, and I had to go back on Friday and reset them. I didn't realize how many channels YouTube TV has added. Now, some of them I've never heard of, like, you know, they're completely, but YouTube TV's added a ton of channels. I'm kind of actually happy with it.
Is it just one package? Like you just buy YouTube TV and it comes with a set amount of channels, or can you pick how many channels you want?
It's got kind of like a base package. It's got like a base package, and then there's a bunch of add-ons you can do.
Yeah, because they lost like Showtime and HBO and all the premium channels, which
you can actually add those. I mean, there's if you go to it, it tells you what it, but the base package is not bad.
I was telling them yesterday that they need to add. You can't. You got to have HBO and Showtime.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have.
Well, you're not
HBO or Showtime.
You're not really a TV or movie person, but
no, I'm not. I do think there's a couple things. I don't know. It looks like some kind of movie that I would get into because a psychological thriller, The Silent Night, and plus I like Keira Knightley. Silent Night. It's coming out December 17th. It's about it's like an apocalyptic movie. It's kind of interesting. You ought to look. I mean, that's my kind of movie. Like moral dilemmas and stuff. Silent Night is the name of it.
I'm looking at it right now. Christmas Gathering. Oh, what a synopsis. Neil, Simon, and Art are ready to welcome friends and family for what promises to be a perfect Christmas gathering. Perfect except for one thing. Everyone is going to die.
Yeah, I had to read. I had to
thanks.
Google. Well, no, I had to read. So what it is, it's interesting. Yeah,
well, it's a comedy drama horror.
Huh?
Comedy is the first thing listed. The first genre
Neil Simon
listed.
for sure would be that, but
No, but it's so like there's a poisonous gas cloud that's like traveling around the Earth or something. Like it comes down to like from what the one of the little previews I read, it doesn't like give away the details, but like this, they know that this gas cloud is coming. So that's why they're all gathering for this like last party, and it's set over in England. And like the government's giving out these suicide pills, and then I guess the dilemma becomes: do you take the suicide pill or do you take your chances against the gas cloud? And it's like all these people. Very
Sounds like
interesting.
You haven't sold me on it yet.
what's that movie we watched? The Steve Carell movie. Wasn't Keira Knightley in that? Where the world was ending.
Got about 30 seconds.
Jason, I haven't
Seeking
seen
a friend
Patrick. Did you ever get around Patrick? Did you ever go see the new Ghostbusters?
I haven't either.
No, I won't.
See, I kind of think I might watch. I have specifically
watch
not
it.
read the Wikipedia page on that because I might actually, like go watch that.
The things that excite you that I couldn't care less about, that fire me up that you couldn't care less about.
Heading back in.
I
one
flipped
call.
over to Aerial America because it's South Carolina.
Yes. Yeah, it's awesome. It's
Yeah,
nice to
I
have
love those. Those are awesome.
Jen, we don't have time for Ron, do we?
You do. You got just a little over a minute.
803-404-6100. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines. One of our earlier callers. He gets up very. He's our earlier participant. Ron from Lake Marion, who's been known to be up at 4:30 in the morning. So we welcome him in. How you doing this morning, Ron? What's your score prediction for the weekend?
Okay, coming up, Carolina and Clemson. Carolina 24-17, but the game will include Carolina will have a 56. Somebody will be talked out for a
Specific.
Oh,
Yeah,
what a
if
prediction.
there's odds for who's getting ejected for targeting calls, he's going to be the favorite.
What a prediction. Appreciate the phone call, Ron. And I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I hope you have a great weekend. Quite the multiple predictions. Very, very thorough there, Patrick. We'll see how much of that comes true. And if he hits all of it, we'll give him a lot of credit come Monday morning. 803-404-6100. Coming up next, Chris Deering from Prep Red Zone Network. We will catch up with him. Another weekend of high school playoffs to get to. And then next hour, Patrick and I make picks. And we continue discussing the South Carolina Clemson game. 24-17, Ron from Lake Marion's prediction. 31-24, Gamecock Larry's prediction. We'll get yours as well. It's the early game, 107.5 the game.
They're perfect.
Gamecocks, Braves, the NFL with live local radio.
All righty. One more hour left, and then we can officially get into the champagne. I think I actually went to bed pretty early. I feel kind of. I had gone. We knocked out a whole bottle of Gentleman Jack and the Bloody Mary. I was a little tipsy after the first Bloody Mary yesterday. The Bloody Mary was a wild start. Patrick, what are we seeing here on Aerial America? Where am I being shown here?
I'm not sure, but that's why it's great to watch with volume because they just fire facts at you nonstop. This is over here.
It looks like a coastal region. Actually, it looks like Hilton Head, I think. I thought I just saw a lighthouse.
Those are the greatest features, though, just to see different, obviously to see South Carolina, but to see different states.
Yeah, there's a harbor town. There's the lighthouse and the harbor.
Oh, that looks so cool.
Yeah, that's where all those big yachts, and you go down for that golf tournament. You walk right over there.
This is cheating.
Harris Island, yep, just up the road.
When they all chase around Paula and she just jumps up on the top of here because they can't reach her.
Chocolate milk vodka. Oh boy. Uncle Nearest Bourbon York. Is that an actual brand? It sounds interesting.
Yeah, she was sitting up here all morning while I was doing the show.
Uncle Nearest Bourbon. Yeah, we did Gentleman Jack. I got a little bit of Jefferson's Ocean left in there. I need to make a run today. Bought Friday, Wednesday, whatever day it was. Wednesday. I went and bought the Dutch Philadelphia eggnog, picked up the Gentleman Jack, bought some champagne and some Prosecco for Aperol spritzers. That's what I might do, an Aperol spritzer and save the mimosa for tomorrow. Aperol spritzer today might not be a bad decision there. Get into the attic and get the Christmas decorations down. I think that might be the strategy for today. You can run wherever you want, Jason. Hollow Creek Distillery. I drive by there all the time going to my dad's place, but I never actually. South Carolina Heights. Let's see here. I got to find the.
Oh man, up here.
Just take me to where I want to go. I need to get the schedule for the weekend further. Oh, here we go. There we go. All right, what do we got? 5A. Fort Dorchester leveled Lexington last week, 30-8. Good. Greenville knocked off Irmo. South Point, so Greenville, South Point, Buford, West Florence. Initial thoughts on the college football playoff on the high school playoff is not a lot of Midlands teams. Dutch Fort, Camden beat BC last week. Dillon beat Oceanside. Did Gray Collegiate get knocked out? Or is Gray Collegiate 2A?
I'm gonna go run and get a propane tank when Deering gets on.
Yep, Gray Collegiate and Newberry. It should be it. Silver Bluff and Barnwell. My buddy Flash, his Barnwell team. Just beer, Troy. Troy, do you drink regular beer or do you drink like IPAs, whatever? I don't drink a lot of beer. Huh. Taught Jack Daniels. So that's Uncle Nearest. So Jack Daniels did a brand in his honor. That's interesting. I have to look for that. Mick Ultra. Oh, my goodness. Troy, you are a Clemson fan. That's a definition of a Clemson fan. Mick Ultra.
Gotta say, yeah.
That's. My goodness. Not even a fancy beer. I don't know what I'm looking at now. Looks like mounds in South Carolina. Looks like something like that. Something looks like some. Oh, it's in the upstate. Best beer there. My goodness. Clemson, so uncultured. Mick Ultra. Oh. Clemson fans. Clemson, I tell you what. And you guys are coming to the tailgate tomorrow. Hey, all right.
I'll let you guys get in and I'll call Deering.
Do what?
I'll let you guys get in and then I'll call Deering.
Okay. 2 or 3 this hour.
Working on podcasts. 2. I'll text you in just a
Okay,
second.
good. Okay.
Guys are
Final hour of the early game, and then we all start tailgating. That was the discussion on the live stream here on the Buford Lending live stream, where Troy, one of our resident Clemson fans on the Buford Lending live stream, was telling us that he doesn't drink liquor. He just drinks Mick Ultra. And it tells me it's the best beer there is. Oh, my goodness. It's Clemson fans. You just
It's not the best beer there is, but it's like Miller Lite.
Careful here.
Beer there is. It's what I drink the most of. But, yeah,
okay.
they're just all day beers.
These Clemson fans, I tell you what, and they're coming to Williams-Brice Stadium tomorrow night with their Mick Ultras and their orange clothes and pants and their attempts to spell.
Your mic is really low.
Does that help at all? Does that the attempts? Yeah, they're you never heard of them? They try and spell out Clemson.
Hey,
Have you been to? When was the last Carolina Clemson game you went to?
what are you doing?
Have you been to a Carolina
What are
Clemson
you
game?
doing here?
College? Okay, all right. So you went once in college. All right.
I've never been to a game in Clemson though. I went
Shocking.
one year, my first year.
Mm-hmm.
My first Clemson game was the 57
Yeah.
game.
Oh, that was not good. That
I
explains a
did
lot.
not go to the game. I stayed. I was at bars because I was turning 21 that night, so I did not go to the game. So I've never been to a game at Clemson, but I've been to 2 Carolina Clemson games at South Carolina.
Shane Beamer has been involved in 2 of the bigger South Carolina Clemson games. The one that won Dabo Sweeney the job. I can't remember the exact score in 2008 up there in Memorial Stadium.
Up right now.
Yeah, 31-14. Yeah,
Hey,
it was
Chris,
a
how are you?
nasty rain. It was a noon game. It was rainy that
Good.
day.
You ready to do this for this morning?
Clemson, South Carolina looked as uninterested I'd
Yeah,
seen
did you
them
get
in the Steve
Thanksgiving?
Spurrier era. The word was Garcia got sick. Chris Smelly played. Yeah, I think that's right. Garcia was
That's
sick.
good.
Chris Smelly
Excellent.
played. There was an
Yeah, it's
interception
fine.
early on.
Kind of
Clemson
simple and nothing wrong with
whipped
that
South Carolina in 2008. Dabo Sweeney. I
They didn't
remember
travel,
walking out of
so
the
it was
stage,
nice.
walking up the
So,
large
got
hill
that
there,
one
going
anyway.
back up to the dorms.
Yeah. All right, sir. You hold
Or in
on.
that
Hang on.
vicinity
Is that your
there,
phone?
that particular year, and the chance of Dabo reigning throughout Memorial Stadium, and sure enough, he would get the head coaching job. Funny about that, at that time in 2008, Clemson fans wanted Will Muschamp, who was in Texas, and I remember people that day, some Clemson fans wearing "Bring the Boom" to Death Valley shirts, and boy,
Yeah,
Clemson
I
fans,
never
you might
heard
have.
that story until this week, Bill. That's actually crazy.
Yeah, that was in 2008. Totally different. Shane Beamer was a part of that staff, and that was exactly what it was. I think at the time, a lot of people didn't know whether Dabo was the right guy or not. But yeah, there was Will Muschamp was the hot name. He was the head coach in waiting at Texas, but he was obviously open to other possibilities. And Clemson was, I think, making a full-on pitch to get Will Muschamp to Clemson. Bring the boom to Death Valley was the slogan back there, but Dabo would be named head coach and would change everything for Clemson. South Carolina in 2009 would beat Clemson. And obviously that started the run of 5 straight. It was a game at Williams-Brice Stadium. We'll talk more about that because there was a play in that game that I wonder, Patrick, if we will see on Saturday. Lord knows you got to think they've been setting up the Kerryon Joyner all season long to throw a pass. If not, oh boy. But a play early on, Stephon Gilmore hitting Alshon Jeffrey down the middle of the field out of the Wildcat package that really got South Carolina going that particular day in 2009. So, yeah, it was Shane Beamer's been a part of some interesting games here. The guy who's a part of many, many interesting games joins us now to break down the high school weekend that will be. It's the semifinals across the board here. And Chris Deering, welcome in. Happy Thanksgiving to you. I hope you have a fantastic day yesterday. Get to spend some time with the family.
Yeah, everything was great yesterday. Went down to the Low Country and had some oyster roast on Wednesday and Thanksgiving yesterday, and came back to Columbia late last night and ready to roll in tonight.
Should be a big night of games. Let's just kind of revisit the last week. The one you were at ended up being a Gray Collegiate victory, 31-15. They rolled over Abbeville. Gray Collegiate. I don't know. Kevin Heisey will probably have to text me here in a few minutes. I'm not sure where they're playing at tonight. That Gray Collegiate will be the home team, but they will host Newberry. Let's start there. Class 2A, Gray Collegiate and Newberry tonight. That one should be another fun one. Newberry 26-24 victory over Christ Church last week. I guess the question becomes: is Gray Collegiate the 2A version of Dutch Fork, or can somebody, Newberry in particular, slow them down?
Well, first off, they're playing at Fairfield Central again.
Okay,
tonight.
back at Fairfield. Okay.
And it's a rematch with Newberry from earlier in the season. But, Gray Collegiate is playing as well as anybody right now. KZ Adams, we've talked about him almost weekly now here. And he went over 300 yards last week in that win over Abbeville. And you just don't see teams really do that to Abbeville that often, if ever. And he's one of the better running backs in the state that I've seen in quite some time. I've said it before. I think some of these state schools have missed out on this kid. But it'll be interesting to see. Newberry's playing, but really, they've played inspired football here in the playoffs. They're playing for Phil Strickland. He's been coaching for 40-plus years here in South Carolina. He announced his retirement before the season. And they've gotten hot at the right time. So can they slow down KZ Adams this time? First time they played, I think Adams went pretty wild. It was a 56-29 game. The Gray Collegiate won pretty easily. So I'm sure they've got to change something up on the defensive side of things for Newberry to have a chance tonight. But, it's playoffs. It's that time of year that teams make a change and things start clicking. So you can see if they can slow KZ Adams down, but right now I don't know that that's possible with Willie Gray's playing. Well, everybody across the state looked all year in 2A for the Gray Abbeville matchup, and they got it last week, and Gray won. So Silver Bluff has been sitting on the other side of the bracket, very quietly just taking care of business. They're allowing less than 10 points a game. They're really talented. They have a sophomore running back, Travion Dunbar, that's probably one of the better backs in the state already. So they're just taking care of business. This is also a rematch from earlier in the year. They played Barnwell a few weeks back and beat them pretty easily. But Barnwell had a 3-game losing streak mid-season, and that actually got them the number 4 seed out of that region. They've gone on the road 3 straight weeks in one playoff games. So they've righted the ship a little bit. But that Silver Bluff team is really talented. They were tied last week at halftime, and then I think ended up winning 56-14. So that's a really good team. I think we're heading for a Gray Silver Bluff championship, and if that does happen, that's going to be a fantastic matchup. Yeah, we'll touch on Daniel real quick. They're the defending state champion. Trent Pierman is their quarterback. he's probably, I think, we had to vote for an all-state team this past week, and I put him on the all-state team for our website. He's a really good quarterback. He's the son of Clemson coach Danny Pearman, and so Daniel's been pretty good all year. That their offense is really high octane. They score a lot of points. They're right around 50 points a game. That's gonna be a tough road for Chester to win that game. And then you talk about Camden and Dillon, and you mentioned those two names in the state of South Carolina, and just historically, they've been there. They've been in championships before, so it'll be interesting to see which one can overcome the hump tonight. Camden did beat Camden played Daniel in the championship last year and lost, so they're back into the semifinals for the third straight year. So they've been there. Dillon's in this spot for the ninth time in the last 10 years. So again, historically, this is probably the best matchup. You got Gaffney and Spartanburg in the upstate in 5A, but this is going to be a really good game. I don't expect a lot of points in this game. I expect it to be low scoring. You know, it's cliche a little bit, but whoever makes a mistake is probably going to lose this game with a turnover or something big like that. But I do expect a really hard-hitting, low-scoring affair in this one.
He is Chris Deering joining us this morning at CDeering82, a member of the Prep Red Zone Network. Make sure you check that out for all your high school needs, everything regarding the end here of the high school football season. Chris, I said it a couple weeks ago, hard to believe next weekend wraps it up with state championships going on. 4A, no Midlands teams here in 4A. Irmo knocked off last weekend by Greenville, who has eliminated AC Flora and Irmo in back-to-back weekends. They'll take on South Point tonight, who had a 30-20 victory over Greenwood. Just your thoughts. You've seen Pro Franklin and Greenville. We talked a little bit about him last week, but they travel to South Point tonight.
Yeah, uncharted territory for this Greenville team. You know, they haven't won a state championship in the modern era. It's been, I think, 1962 was the last time they won a state title. So these kids haven't been in this point, but you know, everybody, you talk historically again, you talk South Point. They've been there. They've won state championships in their short history. That's going to be a tough one for Greenville to go on the road and play a really good South Point team. But I like Greenville. I mean, those kids have really played well all season. Pro Franklin, I said, to me, he's a Power 5 quarterback. You know, he's not going to walk on the campus and start next year, but I think development-wise, he can be one in a couple of years. He's really good, and I think they can find a way to go on the road. And it's hard to go on the road at this point of the year, but I think they might go on the road and sneak out a victory tonight.
The other game there in 4A, Buford. What was the other game there? I just had it in front of me and clicked off of it. Buford and West Florence tonight. Buford. Yeah. Just quickly, any thoughts on that one?
That's probably the two teams I know the least about in this whole final 10 games tonight. Buford did go on the road and beat a really good Myrtle Beach team last week. Talking to some people that were there, they're really big across the front. And West Florence, I do believe, they have a quarterback going to Virginia. So they sort of got on his coattails and had a really good year. But I don't know much about either one of those teams. Whoever wins, I'll try to learn about them by next week.
He is Chris Deering. Follow him at CDeering82 is the way to do that. Where are you at tonight? What game will you be attending?
Well, as you can't tell, I'm battling a little bit of a cold here still. If I get out, it's probably going to be Dillon and Camden, but I'm 50-50 right now.
Okay. All right. Dillon, Camden, that would be a good one. All right. Well, get yourself better. That's important. And because you got a big weekend next weekend. Let's finish this off 5A tonight. Spartanburg and Gaffney, and then the team that is just rolling over everybody, Dutch Fort, 49-21 winner over Sumter last week. But they do get Fort Dorchester, and they got to go to Fort Dorchester. Dorchester rolling over my alma mater, Lexington, last week, 30-8. Any chance Fort Dorchester shocks the state and upsets Dutch Fork?
I really don't think so. I talked, like I said, I was in the Low Country, talked to some people that have seen Fort Dorchester play this year, and everybody that I talked to said Sumter gave Dutch Fork a better game than what Fort D's going to give them. Now, they got the Osborne kid at quarterback. You know, if he could get hot, you know, throw for 300 yards, but that's hard to do against this Dutch Fork defense. And not only is their secondary good, they pressure you up front. They don't give you a lot of time, don't let you get comfortable in the pocket. So I just don't see a way. When I was talking to those guys in the Low Country, and I said, you have to score 30 to 35 to beat Dutch Fork, and I'm not sure that anybody right now in the state can do that. So, you know, Jarvis Green and that crowd, Antonio Williams, they're going to put up 35 to 40 points every week, and you just got to find a way to match that, and I don't think anybody can against that defense. So, Tom Knotts actually likes going on the road in the playoffs. He does not mind getting on the bus and going somewhere. You know, he said in the past he don't think it's fair that the number one team has to get on the bus and go, but that's just the way the brackets are set up. And so I think Dutch Fork goes down in the 4D tonight and rolls pretty easily.
We would be remiss if we did not ask you before we let you out of here. South Carolina and Clemson, you've covered just a couple of these things. You've seen how this thing tends to play out, but you've given plenty of good high school predictions. Your thoughts on tomorrow night's game, 7:30 over there at Williams-Brice Stadium?
Well, Bill, you know, we look at this game and we're in game 12 for both of these teams, and I think it's just been so inconsistent all year. You don't know what you're going to get tomorrow night. I do feel like for the first time in quite a few years that South Carolina can walk into the stadium and compete tomorrow night. But the thing that they're going to have to find a way to do is, I don't think they're going to get the ball and drive 75 yards continuously against Clemson's defense. So they got to get some breaks, some turnovers, some special teams play. So I do think it's going to be a close one, and it would not surprise me at all to see South Carolina finally break that 6-game losing streak. You know, hostile environment for Clemson. But then again, Clemson's played much better in the last few weeks. So if that team shows up, it could be another Clemson win in the series. I think right now you flip a coin. I hate to even put it out there that way, but I think you flip a coin, and if South Carolina can get some short fields and you don't have to travel 40 yards for a touchdown, they have a chance to win this game. I do expect it to be around a 2017, 23-17 type of game, again, because neither offense has really exploded this year. So I expect that type of game. So I do expect it to be close. I think fans will be engaged all night, and it'll be a great night for college football.
He is Chris Deering. Hopefully he gets himself healthy, rest, stay under a blanket today. Lots of fluids. Get yourself out to Camden and Dillon tonight. Should be a fun one. We appreciate you joining us. Glad you had a great Thanksgiving, and look forward to a little preview of the high school championships next Friday when we catch up with you. Have a great weekend, buddy, and look forward to talking to you next week.
Same to you. You have a great weekend.
You too. Chris Deering. Follow him on Twitter at CDeering82. Make sure you check out the Prep Red Zone Network, where Chris is a big part of that. They do a fantastic job keeping you updated on everything going on. We will make some picks. We'll continue talking about this South Carolina Clemson football game as we are counting down the hours. I think Patrick had it down almost to the minute just a little while ago. We'll see if he can do that again. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. Ooh, buddy. I tell you what, yesterday could have been a lot on you sitting around eating the way we all like to do for Thanksgiving. Now you're trying to move around. You got some issues with your back, with your shoulders, with your joints. It's time to call Casey Chiropractic Center. Dr. Peyton, Dr. Roman Cooper. Go over there and let those boys get you feeling better as we go into the month of December. You got a lot of Christmas shopping you need to do, and you don't want to be doing it with a bad back, hobbling around the store. That's never any fun. You look like Santa when he's about 100 or 490 years old. You don't want to look like that guy. You want to look like a guy who is coming off a great Thanksgiving. Let Dr. Peyton and Dr. Roman Cooper get you back to feeling the way you should for Christmas time. 803-796-2424 is how you can reach them. Again, 803-796-2424. They prove that research proves spinal decompression has excellent long-term effectiveness 4 years later, and the boys at KC Chiropractic Center are there to help do that and get you up, walking, moving around. So if you've been feeling issues with your shoulders, with your back, you need a little bit of help, and KC Chiropractic is just the team to get that done. Dr. Peyton, Dr. Roman Cooper, 803-796-2424. The best part, they offer reasonable upfront pricing with no gimmicks or no hidden fees. They do not engage in high-pressure sales or scare tactics. They are working for you, providing hands-on, thorough treatment that is tailored to the individual needs of each patient. Dr. Pate, Dr. Roman Cooper, that's KC Chiropractic Center, 803-796-2424. All righty. Thank you, Kelly. Yes, the background it's turned out beautiful back there. Is it raining? Is it raining? Huh? It's not raining in the back. Oh. All right, Jennifer, what do we need to do here? What do you need me to do?
Yeah.
What makes this easy? Kelly, I just don't see. I don't see him going to Florida. I just don't think they're going to go down that path. I don't think they want to mess with the lane train. I think Florida. Actually, if I was, I mean, I don't know. Would you go with Tom Herman? Would you give Tom Herman a chance?
Do we have 2 more breaks to hit?
I don't know. That's what I was asking, kind of trying to understand what we need to. Patrick, is 2619 the correct updated numbers?
What?
26 to 19. That's what I got written down here, but is that right?
Oh, yeah. That's right.
All right, 2619. Jen, what do I need to do here to make this work?
Okay. I think go in, maybe take just go in, maybe take Clemson Sean's call, talk for a second about the game, and then we'll take that tiny break.
Okay.
I have to do it because we've got 3 of that one client, so they've got to have 3 different breaks. We can't do 2 spots in a break. But I made it like a short, like literally 2.5 minutes, and then come back. And if you want to do the pick segment until,
Yikes.
1, 2, 3, 4, give 5 minutes. You can do the pick segment up until 47, 46, 47. So you'd have quite a bit of time.
Okay. All righty.
All right. So in, phone call, out. Just like that.
Yes. Yep. And then picks, and then last break at about 47.
Yeah.
And that still gives you, a couple minutes on the other side if you want. But do as you wish. The last break is about 5 minutes. With a bill live, it could be 6.
Okay.
All right, we're about to head back in.
I'll read. I'm just kind of the sheet you gave me. I've just been reading liners. You know,
That's
just
yeah. I figured you could adapt because that's all that's in there.
I'll read this quick one right here. Just make sure I get all of them.
All right, guys are up.
Oh, tomorrow night, South Carolina and Clemson. Texting the show, texting 803-404-6100. We don't see that. But if you have a hot take, if you're in the stadium tomorrow night, if you're tailgating and you have a hot take before the game, call 803-978-6654. It is the 107.5 The Game in Twin Peaks Hot Take Hotline, giving you a chance to speak your mind whenever you feel like it. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 803-978-6654 if you need to vent. Sponsored by Twin Peaks for the men who never settle. Go see them down in the Vista at 600 Gervais Street. And weigh in over the final about 20 minutes of this program, 803-404-6100. Well, we've heard Gamecock Larry's prediction. Patrick, minimum for the Gamecocks 31, maximum for the Tigers 24. So that's the worst case scenario according to Gamecock Larry. Let's go to our resident Clemson fan and get the other side of the opinion there. He won't call Gamecock Larry because, as Gamecock Larry said, Clemson Sean is scared. He's horrified. He's terrified of Gamecock Larry. So he calls our program to pick on Gamecock Larry. Clemson Sean, how are you doing? We'll give you some airtime here. I won't cut you off. What's on your mind?
Well, you know, I'm not
And we're
going to call
having a
Larry
great morning.
too early in the morning. I don't want to give him, you know, a couple heart, palpitations or whatever you want to call it. I don't want to get him all too fired up and, not have him be available to watch the game tomorrow. But, it's like I said the other day, 42-10. We're not worried about you booger eaters. We're just sitting around, just relaxing, eating some leftovers from yesterday. I'm going to have some pumpkin pie for breakfast. Sitting on the couch watching Trolls with my daughter, just hanging out. We're not worried about you guys. 42-10. My daughter had to calm me down. She's been running around screaming, Tigers by 90 all morning. And I said, hey, let's temper our expectations.
That's child abuse.
Let's just go with 32-10. We're gonna go to 42-10. Just a nice easy win. It's just a business trip for us. This is just a business trip.
If that doesn't get Gamecock Larry fired up, I don't know will. We will now. I don't know what will. We will now expect his return phone call in the coming moments. Good luck, Jen. Clemson Sean, hope you and the daughter and the family and everybody had a fantastic Thanksgiving and enjoyed the movie Trolls. It seems to fit the narrative of what you just did extremely well. Appreciate the phone call from you. 803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in. Clemson Sean 42-10. Ron from Lake Marion had 24-17. Gamecock Larry had 31-24. Many of you with other predictions as well. We look forward to making our picks. Coming up next, Patrick and I, we have got 5 games to pick. I have got to make a miraculous comeback here over the next 2 weeks. Otherwise, Brian Glenn will have me eating a very, very spicy pizza on December 5th at Village Idiot. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Gamecock basketball head coach Frank Martin. And you're listening
All right, don't do the live
to
here. Do it.
107.5 The Game.
The live here.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
Why no live here?
From the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Because I guess
Glass,
it's just
true
the
reflection
Jen
of
just
quality.
built in this break, and
Oh,
it says 8. It says 8:40 anyway.
To spend your day after Thanksgiving. The rain's clearing out, and it's going to be breezy today, 60 for the high with a few scattered clouds. Tomorrow, sunny and cool, 59 for the high, and about 49 for kickoff. Right now, it's 56 at 107.5 The Game.
Robin is back. Robin, how was the gym?
With great deals for everyone. This week only, you get the perfect pair.
Literally 2 minutes, Bill.
Okay, I'm just standing up. Patrick, you want me to read the games out? Patrick, walk away. Patrick's fishing.
Ollie.
Love that idea, Kelly.
Bill's talking to you.
That would be big.
Bill asked
Let me
if you
bring the
all
dogs to ride back home.
Well, I'm not responding.
No, I got him, Bill.
You want to read them?
Oh,
You got the number?
Yeah, remind me of the games that we're doing.
All right, we
Bedlam,
got
Iron Bowl.
Ohio
us.
State, Michigan, Alabama, Auburn, Penn State, Michigan State, Oklahoma,
Wait,
Oklahoma
no.
State.
You read them because I'll pick first.
Okay, we're heading
I'll pick
back in.
first for all of them
Okay.
because you need You need to probably go the opposite of me on a lot of these.
Reminder, this afternoon, you can go see Heath Klein. That's right. Columbia Craft Brewing Company, 520 Green Street in Columbia. He will be there from 5 to 7. Free appetizers from 4 to 5. Be sure to stop by and register for your chance to win a $250 gift card to Gamecock Traditions. All thanks to T-Mobile, the official 5G sponsor of the SEC. No purchase necessary. Must be 18 or over. See site for details. Void where prohibited. All right. Picks time. Patrick has been very good at this. Patrick is the Bill Gunner of NASCAR, how good I am in NASCAR. I am the Jen Jensen of NASCAR. Not very good, not really knowledgeable. It's perfectly okay. It happens. It's weird the way this all shakes out. And get back to the live stream so I can see what Jen's like. Yep. There we go. There's Jim.
You're giving Patrick no credit. You're insulting him to say that he is like you. He knows about football and he's lucky. You know nothing about NASCAR and you're lucky. So at least give him some props.
He is the Bill Gunner of the NASCAR picks. He's dominating me 26 points to 19. If it's your first time ever listening to this segment, we get 1 point each for the 5 games we pick, and then we have a lock of the week that we take. And Patrick has just been Patrick, honestly, all joking aside, if you want to make one pick tomorrow, follow Patrick's lock of the week. I believe this will be week 7. He is 5-1 in his locks of the week. The one he lost, though, he did lose badly. He took, I think it was, did you take Utah plus the 9 or was it Stanford plus the 9?
It was Stanford plus the 9, and they lost by 45.
Yeah,
that was really fun. It was the one time I went away from an over-under.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. Patrick has been very, very good in with his locks of the week. So without further ado, he is up 26 points to 19. I've got 2 weeks, this week and championship week, to make some kind of contest out of this. We'll see if I'm able to do it or not. But let's start. We got 5 games picked, and then our lock of the week. Let's start with Big Ten action. Noon tomorrow, Ohio State and Michigan. Michigan is an 8.5-point underdog. Patrick, you're up first. Patrick is well out in front of me, so he is going to pick first in each and every one of these things so that I can either try and go opposite of him or that I can just try and not lose a point. What have you got? Michigan hosting Ohio State in Ann Arbor, the big game. Michigan plus the 8.5.
I think this one is super easy, and if we weren't picking it would be one of my locks. I love Ohio State. 8.5 is not a lot of points. Ohio State has a point to prove. Michigan and Michigan State, we saw how close those two teams were when they played in East Lansing a couple of weeks ago. Ohio State just absolutely embarrassed Michigan State. What do you think they're going to do against Michigan? The only way Michigan stays in this game, they do have a really good rush offense. Ohio State's defense is not great. Maybe they could keep that Ohio State offense off the field, but I think Ohio State's going to blitz them early, score a ton of points. Michigan's going to have to go away from what they're good at, and it's not going to be close. If they can control time of possession with the run game and play strong defense, they don't have a shot. And these corners for Michigan are pretty good, but they cannot cover the Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jackson Smith, and Jigba trio. They're too good. 3 pros right there. They're going to light them up. Probably 100 yards each for those 3.
I was going to take Michigan. I've already gotten my picks written down, so I'm not like changing this before when I hear your pick. I like the Wolverines. I don't know if I like them to win, Patrick, but the 8.5 games in Ann Arbor, everything that Jim Harbaugh has ever wanted is right there in front of him. This is why he was brought to Ann Arbor, is to win a game like this. And I like them to cover the 8.5. If it was 6.5, I'd probably go Ohio State. I'd probably go with that touchdown. But the 8.5, I feel like I'm good there. Maybe a backdoor cover, maybe even a Michigan victory. Michigan in the big house. Ohio State at times has shown that they're susceptible to giving up some points. I think Michigan's going to be able to score, not necessarily win the ball game, but keep up. I'm taking Michigan. Hopefully this is where I gain my first point back here on you. Wolverines plus the 8.5. Let's stay in the Big Ten and go out to East Lansing, just down the road. Michigan State hosting Penn State. James Franklin fresh off of the 10-year contract extension. Penn State, I believe. Let me confirm this here. The line opened, Patrick, I think as Michigan State, I believe, was a 1.5 point favorite. I believe that is now slid to Michigan State opened as a favorite. It is now in favor of Penn State minus 1.5. The game is in East Lansing, 3:30 tomorrow. Michigan State minus 1.5. Where are you going with this one?
I think I'm going to take Michigan State. They need to pick themselves up off the mat. I said it was going to be awkward when the 10-year, $95 million deal came out for Mel Tucker, and then they lose to Ohio State by 1 million points. Now the deal is official. I think he signed it. If they want to have any momentum going forward, it'll be necessary to beat this Penn State team. James Franklin's locked up too, so 2 good coaches that are going to be there forever. No more rumors swirling around that. Both teams should be free of distractions with their coaches leaving. But the run game of Michigan State, I think Kenneth Walker is going to need to have a big game. I think he will have a big game. I thought that was going to be the case last year and is going to keep them in the game against Ohio State. Proved not to be true, but I will take Sparty.
Okay, I was already going again the other way. I like my pick here. Penn State, I think they get the job done here. I think the contract discussions kind of took away from what Penn State was. They lost 4 out of 5 in the middle of the season. Lost to Iowa. Lost to Iowa really deflated. Remember, they were a top 5 team themselves. Then lost that awful game to Illinois. Lost by 9 to Ohio State. No shame there. Thumped Maryland and then lost to Michigan in a very close one 2 weeks ago before beating Rutgers. So you look at the losses. The Illinois one's embarrassing, but the three of the other ones not that bad. This is not a bad Penn State team. And Michigan State, I think they're deflated. They lost everything they were playing for. I know it's a rivalry game. I'm going to take Penn State minus the 1.5 to go into East Lansing, pull off the victory. It's not an upset if they're favored. Pull off the victory and get James Franklin a much-needed victory to wrap up the regular season. Moving on. Let's go out to Oklahoma. Let's go to Stillwater, Oklahoma. Traveling to Oklahoma State, the Cowboys, Patrick, minus 4.5 in Bedlam. They're within shouting distance of the college football playoff. What direction are you going here?
I think I'm gonna take the Sooners. I don't know a ton about Oklahoma State. I still haven't watched them very much. I probably know the least about them of all the teams in the top 10. For some reason, I just in my heart believe that Oklahoma just has Oklahoma State's number. So what remind me again, if Oklahoma State wins, then they will play Baylor next week. But if Oklahoma wins, then they'll play Oklahoma State, or is it the opposite way?
Correct. Yes. If Oklahoma State wins, they would get Baylor next week. No, yes. Okay. If Oklahoma State wins, they get Baylor. If Oklahoma wins, they get a rematch with Oklahoma State. I think I have that one correctly. Okay. There's a lot going on there with the Big 12.
Oklahoma straight up, and we'll get Bedlam 2 weeks in a row. Maybe Oklahoma State will get their vengeance next week.
Okay. I actually I like Oklahoma. I kind of lean. This is one that I will go Oklahoma State to oppose you and try and get a point here because I do think it's kind of a toss up. The 4.5, I'm really not crazy about. I wish it was closer. I wish it was 3 or even 2.5, but it's 4.5. But the game's in Stillwater. Oklahoma State fans are going to be fired up. Oklahoma State is still playing for a chance, and I guess Oklahoma is still playing for a chance of going to the college football playoff. Both teams need to win out. They need a little bit of help here. But I like Oklahoma State. Their defense has been playing much better, and Oklahoma's offense, that run game is not clicking. I think Oklahoma State shuts them down. It's a night game there in Stillwater. I think you're going to get a very fun environment between the two teams. I think it's a night game. I wanted to confirm that. I think it's at the same time South Carolina and Clemson are playing each other. It is 7:30. I was okay. I was right about that. By the way, Oklahoma opened as a point favorite. Money has pushed this all the way to Oklahoma State's side now. 4.5 is what we're going to play it at. I will take the Cowboys and lay the 4.5 points. Over to the Plains, a reeling Auburn team will host Alabama. I've got them at 19.5, Patrick. Nick Saban, an epic rant. I don't even know if that's the right way to call it, with an epic rant this past week on teams and being fragile and expectations from fans and when who's dangerous and when who's not dangerous. There's a lot going on. Auburn's lost 3 in a row. We all know what happened here last weekend. I have not. Well, we know Bo Nix is out. I've not seen of any other injury issues for Auburn, so I suspect other than Bo Nix, they're okay. We also knew, what is it? Anders Carlson is out. What do you got here with this game?
I don't even know what the number is, but I'll take Bama. I don't care. They'll probably win by
19.5. 19.5 is 19.5.
Yeah, I'll easily take that. I would. Yeah, if it was over the key number there at 21, I'd maybe consider it. But I think Alabama's going to smoke them. It's one more statement game for Bryce Young. I think all of the Heisman candidate quarterbacks going to have big games. So, yeah, I'll take Alabama pretty much any number.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. They know the importance. Nick Saban's rant tells me that his team is locked and loaded, and I think Auburn's just reeling. I think last week was very bad. Some discussions about coaching issues there, some team turmoil. I don't think it might be close for a half, and then Alabama turns it on. This Alabama team is not what they've been in the past, but I do think they turn it on in the second half, and they will cover the 19.5 is what we're playing it at. South Carolina Clemson tomorrow night, 7:30, Williams-Brice Stadium. Sold out venue. A lot of people with some faith in the Gamecocks. The line opened at 14. It has now gone down to 11.5. Patrick, where are you going with this one?
I'm just gonna make you be. I'm gonna make you be the anti-South Carolina guy if you want to climb back into this. I'm taking South Carolina plus the 11.5. Just a steady dose of running, being stubborn with the run game, keep Clemson off the field, keep the score low. I'm thinking South Carolina loses this game but covers. So maybe I'll say 24-17 Clemson. I would be comfortable with. Make DJ make big plays with his arm. I don't think he'll do it. Control field position with Kai Kroger, a couple field goals, and hold Clemson 2 field goals. So I will take the Gamecocks.
I also will take South Carolina. I'm not going to just lose a point to you just because I don't believe in something. The South Carolina at home has been a different team. 11.5 seems excessive to me. But unfortunately, like you, I think Clemson wins the game. The South Carolina offense, I don't know what's going to show up tomorrow night. Is it the run game that we've seen be able to have some movement against Florida and Auburn and a little bit of success? Remember, they did go over 100 yards at the running back room went over 100 yards against Missouri. It was 4 sacks for 50 yards on Jason Brown that took him back down to 57 yards for the game. I think South Carolina will have some success, but this Clemson defense is the best defensive line, even with the injuries that South Carolina's faced since Texas A&M. We know what happened in that game. I don't think Clemson's offense is going to be particularly strong, so I don't think that they're going to cover the 11.5. But I think somewhat similar to last week. The question is, does Clemson make the mistakes that Auburn did? Remember, Auburn last week, 4th and 1. We've talked ad nauseum about that. Huge mistake, ball bouncing off of Jalen Simpson there at the end of the game. I don't think Clemson makes the mistakes. I'll take Clemson in a very low-scoring win. I'll take South Carolina to kick 3 field goals. 21-16. Clemson knocks off South Carolina is what I've got. So we are both picking South Carolina to cover, both taking Clemson to win the ball game. We are true homers. Love the true homer pick there. Lock of the week, Patrick. Lock of the week. What is Patrick's lock of the week?
I'll be real quick because we're almost out of time, but I will take the over in the Syracuse-Pittsburgh game. I believe that's at 56.5, 57.5. I'll take 57.5. That's fine. Statement games from Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, and Kenny Pickett. I think Pittsburgh will probably get in the 40s by themselves. Syracuse has struggled the last couple of weeks, but Garrett Trader make a couple plays, get Syracuse into maybe the low 20s, high teens, and that'll go over. So I will take the over and a huge game from Kenny Pickett and the Pittsburgh Panthers offense.
I'm going to go with a game tonight. It will be the Apple Cup out in Washington. It is I'm going to play it as a pick'em, Patrick, because there is a couple books who have Washington State as a -1. There's a couple who have Washington at a half. So I would probably do it as Washington State -0.5, but that may as well just be a pick'em. Washington State on the road. They are in Washington tonight, 8 o'clock, the Apple Cup. I think Washington State wins this ball game. Washington is maxed out. I know both programs are looking for head coaches, but it's entirely different reasons they're looking for head coaches. Give me Washington State tonight in a pick 'em. Again, -0.5. If you want to make me do it -0.5, that's fine. But basically a pick 'em tonight out in Washington. I've got the what are they? What is Washington State? The Cougars. Give me the Cougars in a pick 'em over the Huskies there in the Apple Cup. So there's our picks of the week. We'll come back and we will wrap up the Friday episode of the early game on 107.5 The Game. It has been chilly the last few days, and that's just a precursor to what the rest of the winter is going to be. So my question is, have you gotten AAA Heating and Air out to your house to get that $59 inspection yet? If not, it's time to do it. 803-677-1500 is how you can reach them today. Roy and Dana Finley are ready to help you make sure the heating and air unit in your house is working perfectly fine. So give them a phone call and get the family, Roy and Dana Finley, AAA Heating and Air, out to your house to make sure that heating and air unit is working perfectly fine. 803-677-1500. Don't wait any longer and allow the colder weather to show up. Make sure the heating unit working perfectly fine so you don't wake up one morning and be quite frosty. The family, the pets, they'll all be very unhappy with you. 803-677-1500. If anything's wrong, they'll work with you on a $1,500 buyback of your old unit. For those who qualify, no money down, 0% financing on a new unit, and a 15-year parts and labor warranty you don't want to miss out on. 803-677-1500. Call AAA Heating and Air today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you. Marty, I think we both kind of took Ohio State. I'm not sure. Did we? You took Ohio State. Actually, Patrick took Ohio State to just blow out Michigan. I at least got Michigan covering the spread. Patrick, what was your lock?
56.5 for Cuse and Pittsburgh. I want the over.
Yeah, it's like I said, I probably would have done Washington State at -0.5, but thank you, Kelly. Robin, see you Monday. And then we got one texter right now who's not happy with us. It says we cannot celebrate on Monday when the Gamecocks win. Y'all are unbelievable. He also said Patrick is crazy. Michigan will win.
Why couldn't we celebrate if we win?
Because we didn't pick them to win.
Although if you go back and you look at the text messages, and the person has basically been anti-South Carolina all season. Let me straighten. He texts Heath. Well, he texts Heath all the time. And he doesn't know how to spell Heath. He spells Heath, Hieth.
Well,
We're basically out of time, right, Jen?
yeah, because we're
Yeah.
at 2:45. It's if you're gonna have a minute.
Okay.
That's a good way to wrap it up.
That is a good way to wrap it up.
We've covered just about everything we need to cover.
Almost a little less than a minute.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Getting the Blackstone ready as soon as we finish this. Cook some pancakes and eggs and bacon on the Blackstone.
Oh, that's what I got my dad like a mini portable one for the Blackstone, like the one burner. That way he can kind of move it around at his lake house.
Yep, that's nice. You wanna go out there? You wanna go out?
I don't know if I have anything for breakfast. Three hours until football. I got to send in that pick'em league I'm in. I got to send in my picks. Yeah, Kelly. Everybody rally at the Rushes in Lexington. We're heading to Greenwood for breakfast.
Then we're turning right back around and coming to Columbia because I'm leaving in 6 hours probably.
All right.
We're back.
Patrick and I picked South Carolina to cover, but to lose. Jen, what is your pick for tomorrow? We got to get yours as well. We got to get you on record. Where are you going with this? 24-21. Jen can be the brilliant one. Patrick and I both taking. She does. That's why everybody loves her, and they throw tomatoes at us. We appreciate you joining us this morning. Hope you've had a great Thanksgiving, and we hope you have a phenomenal weekend. Big thank you to Jen Jensen.
2 years since we've been able to do this.
It has been. Enjoy it. Enjoy the weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday morning. Win or lose, we'll be here. Hope you have a great weekend. For Patrick Pratt, for Jen Jensen, I'm Bill Gunner. It's been the early game on 107.5, The Game.
All right. That's
Good morning, Rodney. You missed the show. That's what you missed.
Yeah, you missed a 3-hour show.
But good news.
Nothing.
You can go back and watch it. Anything you missed, you can go back and rewatch the whole thing. You can go back and watch the whole thing. Everybody have a great weekend. Patrick, go get the Blackstone fired up. Where's Polly?
Yep.
We need to say goodbye to Polly.
Right there.
Oh,
There
there's
she is.
Polly.
Look at that. On cue.
Polly.
Always
She
smiling.
heard breakfast
Polly's
and bacon.
There's Ken and Reagan. They're all hovering by the Blackstone. They know what's about to happen.
There you go. Awesome. All right.
Well,
Bucks.
we'll be out there.
Okay.
We'll be out there tomorrow morning. So we'll see everybody out there.
Take care.
All
See
right.
you guys.
Go Cox.